Ever witnessed someone so fast on track you doubt you could ever be on their level? The mission of Advanced Motorsports is to demonstrate the speed is achievable for everyone. With the expertise of some of the best sim drivers in North America, we are set to release free content on social media and comprehensive guides on our website. For those seeking the ultimate experience, our Advanced Motorsport Institute and personalized coaching sessions are the way to go. No matter your level of experience, we invite you to follow us on our social media to learn to be fast.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
The streets of Long Beach are now covered in a thick paste of rubber, but they're also covered in a thick cloud of the fear of every driver. You gotta throw that fear away though, because 4 different championship finales await no matter how afraid you are. One of them is clinched, but 3 are still active, and we're gonna follow you through those over the course of tonight. My name is Joey Tebben. Alongside me for the season finale is DJ Clark, and behind the scenes is our producer Dustin Allis, as always. But DJ, this is the season finale for the Prototype Series on Monday night in the PRL LMP3-GT4 GTP-LMP2. 4 different championships to be resolved at Long Beach and Silverstone.
Exactly, and you couldn't have asked for more iconic tracks, whether you talk about the rough and tumble nature here of Long Beach or the perfect, pristine vistas of Silverstone. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic finale. But Joey, let's not keep the fans waiting. Let's run through our schedule. Let's run through what we have got on store for this championship finale.
It has been a very, very fun journey so far. We kicked it off at Daytona in January. We all had Daytona fever with multi-class sports car racing. Then to the absolute craziness, Rudskogen, Mount Panorama, Sandown, where we had one of the most incredible races of the season with the upset. Nicholas Karangis winning his first race of the PRL, of his PRL career. Then Suzuka, not Barber. We did go to Mugello. It was good to see that in here for the first time. Hungaroring and Okayama, 2 more tight and twisty tracks, and it all followed to Long Beach. That's where we end the season tonight. The final race in the final day of March. Here we go. Dayton Lowe, he is your championship leader. He won 5 out of the 8 races so far. Critically though, Dayton Lowe is not here in the field tonight, so he can't score any points. Jason Drescher behind him, 55 points behind Dayton Lowe. Remember that number, because 55 points gets you, that's what a win gets you in the Precision Racing League. 1 point goes out to fastest lap, 1 point goes out for pole position. So if Jason Drescher wants to win this championship, he needs to win and either get the fastest lap or the pole position. It's not just about winning, it's about those extra points, and those are going to be very critical in LMP3, DJ.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very critical, and we're going to be doing some math up here in the booth to make sure that that plays itself out. But right now, Drescher doing what he needs to do up on top of the standings here in qualifying. He's got a little bit of an advantage, and he's got himself in the pole.
The team's championship's still definitely active in LMP3 as well. Throttle Thursday and Grant's Garage have been engaged in battle all season long. Throttle Thursday has had a 3-car effort all season long with Dinsmore, Carangis, and Doucette. Grant's Garage, a 2-car effort with Drescher and Starker. Which one of them is going to come out on top at the end of today? You have to imagine that if Jason Drescher does well and Ian Starker picks up a couple points as well, this could be much, much closer than the current 26-point separation we see here. I don't think you're going to see any of those other teams in consideration. Vulture Motorsports, unfortunately, has fallen apart a little bit at the end of the season, but hopefully we'll see them back next season for another assault. The GT4 team standing, the driver standings rather, are also somewhat close. A 44-point gap separates Justin Ream and Graham Wildman. That is somewhat surmountable, I'll say that much. If Justin Ream crashes, if he finishes less than 50% of the race, he gets 0 points, and if Graham Wildman wins, he could jump Justin Ream. But if Justin Ream finishes the race with the amount of cars that are out on track today, he will win the championship. All he has to do is finish, and you have to imagine with a 100% finish rate in the races that he's been in this season, he'll probably be able to do that. But anything can happen. It is Long Beach. It's always open to craziness, and the GT4 team standings are actually quite close because Justin Ream is not competing for a team. He races for Hydro Race Geodesic, but none of his teammates decided to follow him here this season, so the team's championship is separated by 3 points between Soy Boys Racing and Turn 1 and Done. That is going to come down to the final lap. That is going to be immensely exciting. Qualifying's been immensely exciting. There's only 2 minutes to go there, but before we can take you to the final seconds of that, we have to thank everybody who makes all of this possible here in the PRL, starting with Advanced Sim Racing. Owned and operated by passionate sim racers, Advanced Sim Racing designs and builds the sturdiest and most durable aluminum profile racing simulation cockpits available in the market today. All PRL members also get a 5% discount on ASR products using the Precision5 coupon code. Racebox Sim Racing offers mid and high-end button boxes for sim racing enthusiasts, from the casual gamer up to the most meticulous sim racing driver. Competitively priced and carefully handcrafted, their button boxes are an enjoyable addition to any sim racing setup. Visit raceboxsimracing.com and also get a 5% discount, also using the Precision5 coupon code. This coverage is also brought to you by The Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker products add incredible immersion and realism to every game. Feel every nuance and truly put yourself in the driver's seat with The Butt Kicker. Moradness is a performance lifestyle brand motivated by motorsport and founded by professional race car driver Daniel Morad. For more information, visit moradness.com. Mr. Hedge iRacing Photography. Capture your finest, proudest, or simply worst moments from your hobby in up to 8K resolution. A great addition to any sim room. And last but not least, Advanced Motorsports. Get ready to learn to be fast with Advanced Motorsports. Follow them on their socials to become a better driver. Qualifying almost coming to an end here. About 30 seconds left on the clock. Still some laps to be finished. But critically, DJ, in LMP3, Jason Drescher currently sits on pole. That could be a very, very important point in getting him his first championship in the PRL.
It could be absolutely crucial, and that is not a small margin that he is on the point by. It is 0.5 of a second, half a second, Joey. That is remarkable for Drescher to be able to pull that out here around the Long Beach circuit.
And it is somewhat unfortunate for Dayton Lowe. He has been utterly dominant at times this season. 5 wins in 8 races. Unfortunately, couldn't make it to the final round. And in the PRL, you cannot drop the final round. Points here matter. So with Dayton Lowe missing this race, he's going to get a big fat 0 from this week. And Jason Drescher will get however many points he scores. And it is going to come down to that number. But Jason Drescher's already made it 1 point closer. It's now a 54-point championship gap as he starts from pole. Matt Dinsmore and Greg Doucette, excellent qualifyings from them as they try to keep Throttle Thursday in the lead of the team's championship. Vincent LaRue, P4 for Tabula Rasa. Daniel Cranifus and Kwok Nin, they're going to start alongside each other on row number 3. Corey Precker is back. He starts alongside Nicholas Karangis. Then Nicholas Salaputis and Ian Starker make up row number 5. Ian Starker is going to be looking for positions to get points for Grant's Garage. And on the 6th row, rounding out the LMP3 field, Nikos Sanadakis and Josh Kimball round out the field in LMP3. In GT4, you'll notice that it is not Justin Ream on pole. He's actually elected, I believe, to not qualify. No, he has qualified. He just qualified very, very late and didn't get an excellent lap in. But on pole is Graham Wildman. The fans in the chat are going to be cheering him on all night as he looks for his first win of the season. He'll start alongside Kalen Tobin, who's looking for his first win in the PRL. It's a pair of Mercedes, Ted Lowendick and Cade Smith on row number 2. Maxime Davids come close to winning this season. Adam Ostrich, the only driver to win, not named Justin Ream this season. He won last week while Justin Ream was out. Justin is back now. Did tell everybody before the race, didn't get much practice, so he is a little bit on the back foot. Let's see how he can move forward from 7th on the grid. He starts alongside his fellow Porsche Brett Pancari, rounding out the top 10. Michael Doyle and Nathan Jennings will start ahead of row number 6, Sean Romig and Tim McLeish in a Mercedes and a McLaren. Doug Evans looking for points for Miracle Flow Misfits. Maybe a little bit too late for them in the team's championship, but turn 1 and done. They're still fighting for it, as are Soy Boys Racing and Robert McGeehan. Matthew Zerwick starts in the middle of those two, and Will Jennings and John Krauser bring us down to P17 and P18. The hits keep on coming, though. It's a big field. Duncan Staroska, Kenny Gorman, the Lone Gorman, and Niall Drake round out a 21-car GT4 field. Sean Mulholland will be probably sitting in his Aston Martin on pit lane, getting down to a little bit of admin duty. But that is a lot of cars, DJ. Even though it is only a 33-car field, it's smaller than we've seen this season. It's Long Beach. It's still going to get pretty tight.
It's going to get absolutely chaotic around here as they try to be able to get themselves sorted out. Look for the big flashpoints being coming down into turn 1, down through the fountain section, then of course the all-encompassing, all-terrifying hairpin at the beginning of the race. And indeed, any point when you've got this multi-class traffic trying to sort their way through it, it can get crazy.
By the way, a little bit of statisticking. Graham Wildman's first pole in GT4. We'll see if he can convert it to his second win. But up front in LMP3, it's a single file start through the hairpin. Everybody's pointed straight. And Jason Drescher leads us to the green flag at Long Beach in his hunt for the championship. All he's got to do is stay in this position now for 40 more minutes, and he's got his first championship. GT4 takes the green flag as well. Graham Wildman leads the GT4 field to the green flag in front for the first time. They're single file as well. Very well behaved, DJ, and that avoids some of the usual Long Beach trouble we see on lap 1, at least for now.
Yeah, some of that usual Long Beach shenanigans not happening. Want to give some credit there to Kalen Tobin, who got a really good start off of that hairpin. He's going to be able to keep some pressure here on the back of Graham Wildman as they come through the corner, but you've got to wait. You've got to pick your points of attack around this Long Beach circuit and not be too aggressive with anything. Coming down into 6 and 7, that's a good area. 8 and 9 as well.
Look at the gap Drescher's pulled already. It's been an incredible start for him. A second and a half over Matt Dinsmore already. I was looking at his timing in practice. He had a second over the field in practice with a little bit of race running. You can tell that Drescher knew he was going to have to fight this week. He knew he was going to have to practice and win to win this championship, and he has absolutely delivered. They're side by side through the final sector, though. Side by side through the hairpin gets a little bit of dicey. Kwok Nin and Daniel Kranifus sort things out on exit.
Yeah, and look what Kwok was able to do there. I like that. It's Ted, is it looks like somebody diving down into pit lane potentially there. Not sure what that was about out of the LMP3 field, but they just about did, we're hearing. They didn't officially come down in, but still kind of a sketchy moment there.
Yeah, I think that may have been Karangis just dropping the wheel on the exit of the hairpin and then going a little bit swervy mode, but everything's okay there. Look at how close things are in GT4, though. Graham Wildman's got off to a good start. He still leads, but Kalen Tobin is there, and he is in the draft down the front straight, down Shoreline Drive. Is he going to be close enough for a dive into turn 1? You do definitely need to be a little bit closer at Long Beach to go for a dive, and Tobin knows he's not close enough. Karangis, though, at the top of your screen there, DJ, he actually did get a little hit to the wall.
Yeah, and I think what that was is just a little bit of wheel spin picked up off of the hairpin. It is one of not only the slowest speed corners on this circuit, but one of the slowest you are going to see anywhere. But we got a big slowdown coming here into the fountain section. That's the 71 of Romig, and that's going to put everybody offline.
And that's not good for turn 1 and done in the team's championship. They need every point they can get. Romig, though, into the tires, and I believe we just saw him, did we just see him toe at the bottom of your screen? Yes, we did.
Oh, so their team one and done going to have a real problem here. But we take our eyes back up. Vincent Leroux, Daniel Cranifus, and Kwok Nin. Nin putting a lot of pressure to the back here of Cranifus coming off of the hairpin, but it looks like Nin is sacrificing mid-corner speed and losing a little bit of speed down this straightaway. He's keeping it tight through the hairpin, but he's not able to get the attack.
And this is essentially just going to be a battle for third now. Jason Drescher's pulled 2 seconds. Matt Dinsmore's pulled 2 seconds over Doucette. But while it is a little bit calm right now, DJ, the lap time separation between LMP3 and GT4 is pretty big. It's almost 30 seconds. So these front runners in the LMP3 class, they're going to reach the back of the GT4 class in basically one more lap if the math is correct.
Yeah, and when that happens, it's going to be absolute insanity here. We talked about those areas where it's good to overtake, Joey. That is true for when you're trying to get past multi-class action as well. As you try to get into that situation, it is not easy when you're trying to get on by. You need to take high percentage moves around this circuit.
I did my math a little bit wrong there. I will give full disclosure. It's almost half of the gap that I said it was, but they're still going to reach traffic very, very quickly, and it is coming in just a matter of moments. We ride on board here, though, with Justin Ream, and I don't really believe my eyes, DJ. I think this might be AI generated. We're seeing Justin Ream with cars in front of him.
Yeah, I mean, this is a little bit crazy, but remember what Justin told us. He didn't get a lot of practice in this week. He's a little bit on the back foot. As here, we've got a little bit of a moon. That's going to be Nin trying to make a move.
Kwok and Cranifus side by side to turn one. Does the outside work for Nin? No, it does not. Cranifus hangs on for the moment, but this is the ultimate pressure already, even if it is just for P5. You know Kwok Nin loves to go for an overtake if he gets the opportunity, and he is looking forward. He is not happy to ride in line right now, and you have to imagine that's not going to be the last time he goes for a look. There could be a look sooner than that with Cranifus bobbling.
Yeah, if Cranifus bobbles like that, we talked about it, coming down West Shoreline Drive into turn 6, that is a prime overtaking opportunity. Now Nin's going to be a little bit on the back foot. Turn 8, not the best one, but if he can set him up down the back straightaway here, we may be able to see an attack take place.
And directly ahead, Vincent Leroux and Greg Doucette might be going for battle for P3. You see Cranifus in the back of your screen blocking all the way down to the wall. He's just trying to break the draft and go snake mode, and he was very successful in doing so. Kwok misses the corner at turn 9, loses a couple critical tenths, and he's going to have to re-rack and try and get back in the rhythm as Vincent Leroux goes a little bit wide out of the hairpin. That could open the door for Cranifus now to look forward.
All right, here we go, as we've also got to jump over to the battle here. Justin Ream making a move, moving his way up forward. That's Ostrich that he was able to get around.
Is he going to clear him into Pato Award corner at turn 8? Yes, he is. Ream, one single position up from his starting position. He is learning with every lap, actually. He didn't do any practice, but it's Justin Ream. He's a Porsche GT4 driver through and through. He's going to figure this out no matter how much time it takes. Oh, Nicholas Karangis around in turn 1. It's been a very clean race so far for our LMP3s, and Karangis, unfortunately, the first loser in turn 1.
Yeah, it looks like he may have just clipped a little bit of that outside tire barrier. We'll see if we can get a replay pulled up here a little bit later on that situation, but that's going to change the running here. Yep, that's exactly what it was. Just a little bit too much momentum there and a big thwack of that outside wall.
I was going to be thinking, who put those tires there? Why did those have to be there? Why couldn't it be about 12 inches further away from the wall there? And he probably would have been okay, but those tires were unfortunately there. Karangis out of luck. Gary Gainsel down pit lane. That's an early stop for him. Could potentially be damage as well. You know, those concrete walls love to bite.
Yeah, they really and truly do. And we are seeing a lot of drivers kind of taking optional strategy here at this point. Ooh, a little bit of a squiggle coming off the line there. I think that was Kwok Nin. It's going to scupper any chance he has of being able to get a run here on Daniel Cranifus. And now it's really going to be Leroux in the driver's seat again for that final podium position to try to move his way forward. I don't think he's close enough to get the attack down into turn 1, but he's going to be trying.
That's Sean Romig coming out of the pits in the GT4. He's going to be a little bit of early traffic actually to deal with for some of those LMP3 drivers. But back in GT4, things have separated a little bit. It was a GT4 train for the first 8 minutes or so. But there's more trouble, though. Ian Starker now, the Grant's Garage driver. They needed every point they could get in the Teams Championship, but Starker's taking a hit in turn 1.
Oh, and they're kind of the opposite of what we saw not too long ago. Tried to catch the car a little bit as it went around, and David just kind of smacked into the side of him. No fault of Maxime there. He had nowhere to go.
And Maxime David in the BMW GT4 here coming down the back straight. That is a big lockup and just a total miss of the corner there into turn 9. Now he's trying to do a little bit of parallel parking, Long Beach street parking style.
I've done it a couple of times. It's not easy, but we've got traffic dealing with the leaders here at this point. This is
Wildman comes together with Gorman. That was Kenny Gorman. Oh, no. False alarm. False alarm. That was Robert McGeehan. I thought that was inter-GT4 lap traffic. It was his teammate, Robert McGeehan. Duncan Staroska's around. That was not Civil War in the GT4 class. That was everybody at the back of the field.
Oh, my goodness. But just absolutely.
Why did they paint both of those cars orange, DJ? They confused us.
Just to make us confused. That's really why they do it. I'm telling you right now.
Exactly. It finally came to blows. It's been absolutely unimportant so far this season, and the one time it happens, we give the whole Wildman family a heart attack in the chat. Niall Drake was trying to make it through the hairpin, but that is very, very awkward when you're in a slightly damaged BMW.
Yeah, you need every last inch of steering lock that you have, and it looks like here Dinsmore's got no nose. He's been another driver to make contact with those outside barriers.
And again, this is not good for Throttle Thursday. And Matthew Zerwick pointed the wrong way around. It was so clean for the first 10 minutes or so, and everything has decided to go crazy. But in the team's championship, Doucette is still around in P2 for Throttle Thursday. Dinsmore's got damage. Carangis has damage too, though. Could that mean good things for Grant's Garage? Who knows? Ian Starker's got to do a little bit of J-turning, though. Remember what I said about Long Beach street parking? I don't think you can park there.
No, I've stumbled past there on a few occasions, but you can't park there, I can tell you that right now. But he's going to get himself going here as we take a look. That's going to be Dinsmore coming back down into pit lane again with that problem on the hood of the car. Let's see what happened. Surprisingly, this wasn't into turn 1. Dives down into the fountain, just misses the apex a little bit. I think he's already damaged by that point, so maybe this was a turn 1 incident there for Dinsmore.
May have been. Oh, he was the driver who hit the Aston Martin of Duncan Staroska on the front straight. You see up there, Robert McGeehan and Kenny Gorman come together. Duncan's trying to look for a way through, and there were 3 GT4 cars across the road there. Nowhere for Matt Dinsmore to go.
Yeah, he just kind of absolutely got scuppered there and no way to go. But we've got a battle shaping up right now. LaRue and Doucette. This is for P2 right now. LaRue falling back as a result of traffic.
Une bataille canadienne in my worst French possible. That's what we've got here for second. Vincent Leroux's had some good performances this season. Got his first podium a couple of weeks ago after a long season of trying, and P2 would be his best finish of the season if he can hold on. He's got Greg Doucette behind him, though, and he may have gotten by Greg. It's very tough to defend against him, though, and he's wide out of the hairpin. Loses a little bit of ground there, and you see directly ahead Maxime David, and literally the entire GT4 field are coming up.
Yeah, and that's not what they want to see here at this point. If they want to battle, they want to do it in clean air and in clean track conditions. Having all of these drivers around them is not going to help them by any stretch of the imagination.
Kranifus and Kwok side by side into turn 1 again. This time it's Kwok Nin that wins out. He's up into P4, and he's going to be looking for his first podium of the season. He's had some good performances, some days where he's ended up on the back foot and had to drive forward. Well, he's done exactly that today. He's done nothing but drive forward, up 2 spots from his starting position, and the podium is just 1.5 seconds away.
Yeah, and I like seeing what I've seen here at a Kwoknet. It's been a calm, cool, calculated drive here for the number 86. He's made some good moves when he's needed to, and he's held back and not thrown that car into a dangerous position when that has been the thing that has been called for. So good moves for Kwok, and I think he's going to be able to move his way up through the field a little bit more at this point.
Now, everybody, I'm going to tell you this right now. The car on your screen right now, that is Graham Wildman. It may be painted identically to Robert McGeehan's McLaren that got destroyed a little bit earlier, but Graham is okay, and he's still rolling in the lead of this race in the number 53. He's only extended that gap over Kalen Tobin, now 1.5 seconds. But these guys haven't dealt with LMP3 traffic, and right as I say that, look who's coming up. Overall leader Jason Drescher just in the background. He's coming through to lap these guys for the first time.
Yeah, and this is where things are going to get tricky. Now, Drescher's got to have a lot of faith in the GT4s ahead of him that they are going to just stick to the line and not be a little bit crazy. And likewise, what the GT4s need to do is be predictable here at this point. Oh, a little bit of a squiggle there for the number 12 of Arcade Smith. And he's going to be able to get on by Drescher, just picking his opportunities to go by. You've got to have respect here between these two classes.
And Jason's going to be thinking like a purple people eater right now. Gets to the inside of the purple Mercedes of Ted Lowendick. Isn't going to get to the inside of the purple Aston Martin of Kalen Tobin until the back straight. Maybe an easier place to get by. One more car for him, Graham Wildman. He's going to catch him in the worst possible place on the track to catch a GT4 car, though. It is so difficult to get through traffic in turns 10 and 11, and Jason Drescher's just got to back off a little bit here and wait for a more opportune moment to get by.
Well, that's good heads up from Jason. He knows he's got a 6-second advantage on the rest of the field, and he's not going to lose anything by holding up there a little bit through that final hairpin. If he just takes it easy like he did and waited for that move to play out, that's exactly what you want to see.
And as things play out right now in the championship, Jason Drescher will win the championship by 2 points. He doesn't even need to get the fastest lap because he got the pole. He just needs to win, and he's doing exactly that. Everything is going his way. The battle for P4 rages on, though. Getting by Adam Ostrich is Daniel Kranifus, and he's just trying to make sure Kwok Nin doesn't get away, and he's also trying to make sure that Mr. Corey Precker, the silent assassin, doesn't get a part of this.
Yeah, Precker's starting to come on a little bit strong here at this point, only about 1.3 seconds back. And if we continue to see Nin and Kranifus fight a little bit, now Ream's going to come down into pit lane. A little bit surprised by that.
Alternate strategy for Justin, potentially. Maybe flipping the books on what we normally see. I feel like we normally see a longer first stint in this series and a splash and dash to the end, but Justin says, how about a shorter first stint and a longer second stint? He might as well. He's learning on the job today.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he's doing here at this point. He just needs to kind of play it safe and do what he can, and I like the call that he made right there.
Ooh, Jason Drescher getting through, or Nico Sanidakis getting through, rather, and a little bit of savvy driving from Michael Doyle finds the hole open as Punkari was being very courteous to the LMP3 coming through. Isn't able to hold it side by side for the entirety of the back straight, though. Punkari's later on the brakes, sawing with the wheel there in the GameStop or Blockbuster that he calls his basement, and he's holding off Michael Doyle for even longer.
Yeah, he's going to hold off Doyle here, but Doyle's going to get a better run coming off the hairpin. Punkari's going to be able to carry a little bit of speed, and I like what I'm seeing there from Brett. Taking a hand off the wheel, relaxing a little bit as he comes across the line. Take this moment to breathe. It's really the only point on the entire Long Beach circuit that you get that opportunity.
And he's going to be extra tense because that new Michael Doyle livery, that's terrifying. Look at, there's just like 70 eyes on that car. They're all staring me in the face.
Yeah, that is a little ooky.
It's so ooky. I thought Halloween was in 7 months.
Apparently not. Apparently Michael wants to just instill fear into the drivers around him, and that's probably exactly what he's doing right now.
Well, actually, now that I look more closely, are those eyes or are those mouths? I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so I can't even tell.
Yeah.
Those have to be eyes. Or maybe those are like it's like one of those exotic birds.
Or they almost look like Among Us figures.
They could be Among Us figures. You never know. You never know what Michael Doyle's cooking up over there.
Yeah, exactly. But we'll have to ask him at a later point about the new livery.
Yes, Michael, is it exotic bird, Among Us, eye, or lip? Those are the big four. Those are the only 4 options.
Yep.
We'll have to wait and see. I'll get him on speed dial here. I'm glad we're still seeing Brett Punkari amidst all of this, though, because he's not changed a thing. He's driving exactly the same. You don't see a drop of sweat on that guy. You don't see him shaking at all. He's got a car about inches away from him for the entirety of the lap, and he doesn't care. He's just looking forward.
Well, that is a driver that not only trusts his car, but trusts the track to be able to get it around in the way that he is. He's not overdriving the car. He's not driving defensively here, Joey. He's just driving his own lines and letting the actual nature of Long Beach work to his advantage. He's making Doyle rather, have to go the hard way around. And as a result of that, he's not scrubbing any time. He's not losing any time trying to be defensive. He's just able to put down good lap after good lap.
Nicholas Salapoutis has brought it down pit lane, I think potentially with a little bit of damage. Niall Drake got into a little bit more trouble into turn 1. Not too much trouble, just missing the braking zone and yet again having to figure out reverse gear in a BMW. That's a little bit too much reverse gear.
All right, yeah, that's going to be a little bit of a problem there at that point, but they're going to be able to get themselves pointed back the right way right now. Here they go as they continue to run, coming across the start-finish line. Kwok-Nin trying to close down on Greg Doucette. I'm a little bit surprised by this here, Joey. I would have thought that Kwok-Nin would have been able to close that gap a little faster, but side by side, farther back in the field.
Yeah, slightly surprised by this as well, because Maxime David, he's got to cut his way through the field yet again. Qualified in the top 5, was so fast in practice in that BMW, but a very, very early mistake at turn 9 put him all the way at the back of the field. And now he's on a recovery drive, which might not be good in terms of points for him. He may only be able to look forward at a top 5 as a potential result, but he's certainly going to add himself to the highlight reel today, because that was definitely not the last overtake he's going to make.
No, it certainly was not, and he's doing a good job here. That BMW is going to be a real handful around here. Tends to be a little bit understeery in the way that it runs, and it's going to be a little bit difficult to get that car to be precision perfect around Long Beach, but he is doing a fantastic job.
And we do have to start thinking about next season already, as this is the championship finale. Next season's coming up in a couple of weeks. I believe Maxime David will be back. I got to check the signups. I'm going to do that right now on my other screen. Let's see. Will he be back? Come on, Maxime. Why is your name not as readable as it should be? I don't think Maxime David will actually be back in a GT4 car. I think he will be back in another series. Signups are still open. There's 5 spots left in LMP3. And the reason I mention that, DJ, is because Justin Ream will not be back in GT4 next season. He's got to focus on some other sim racing commitments. So that opens up a power vacuum next season to see who could fill it.
Yeah, and that's going to be a big thing. And that's one of the things I love about the Precision Racing League is that there are drivers that will switch back and forth among series, among different classes, and make their way around. So for anybody who wants to challenge here in GT4, Ream's not going to be here. Go ahead and do it.
Obviously, we have to think about Graham Wildman. He'll obviously be a championship contender with Justin not being there. Kalen Tobin as well has been very fast. The Ostrich himself, Adam Ostrich. Ted Lowendick will be back. He's absolutely going to be a championship contender. And there's also some very strong names rejoining the series as Will Jennings brings it down pit lane. But names coming in next season, Turner Schroll from Hyperion, Nathan Deering, Michael Terrafino, Adam Brockway. Those are some very fast names from the past couple seasons of the PRL, race-winning drivers, and from many other leagues as well. It's going to be so exciting in GT4 next season.
It's going to be absolutely fantastic. And Joey, I for one am a little bit disappointed that I've got to be stepping away from the digital world, and I'm going to have to miss it. It's going to be a little bit sad. It's a little bittersweet. This is going to be our last broadcast together for a while.
It will be, but those of you at home, I'm not going to promote another broadcaster that may have another streaming service on the broadcast, but just know that me and DJ will be seeing each other on the road. We may have some extra content coming from that. You never know what could happen. The battle in the top 3, though, it's actually closing up. I think Graham has seen that he's got a little bit too big of a lead. He wants to bring some excitement back into this. Kalen Tobin is reeling that gap down.
Yeah, it's starting to bring its way forward here at this point, and I'm not sure if that's necessarily Graham's pace falling off a little bit, as he's still putting down pretty good times. Indeed, on the last lap, Graham and Kalen were almost identical, down to the 100th of a second on their last lap. I think this is just a matter of Tobin starting to put on the afterburners.
Adam Ostrich down pit lane as well, so we're going to have to start thinking about pit cycle here. Shockingly, it's been 20 minutes in this race. I don't know where those 20 minutes have gone. How did that even happen? It feels like this race started about 30 seconds ago, and it's already past halfway.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you've got good racing here at Long Beach, as everybody works their way on through. Now, the big question that I have is a lot of these drivers doing exactly what we see right there. Doug Evans coming down into pit lane, Adam Ostrich, another one. We're still waiting for the majority of the LMP3 field to come down in. That's going to change everything up.
Could this be the lap that Graham decides to come in? Let's see, through turn 9, through turn 10, and through turn 11. One of the LMP3s coming through behind. That's one of the Throttle Thursday drivers who decides to stay behind Kalen Tobin. Does Graham take a hard right here and bring it down? No, he does not. Tobin doesn't do it either. Ted Lowendick in third. He might be the driver who could think the most about an alternate strategy. And one of the beautiful things about this series this season is we do get to talk to Ted Lowendick about his strategy live. I definitely think we'll talk to him about that before the pit stops come around. Instead, we've got this to watch, though, because Greg Doucette and Kwok-Nin are about to meet 3 wide GT4 traffic.
Yeah, and they've got to try to sort their way through this here at this point. That really slowed up Doucette in front of them, and LaRue sends it up to the inside. Excuse me, that was Doucette with the send on LaRue.
That was a Sebastian Bourdais move there. That was incredible on a damaged LMP3 car, I think, of Vincent Leroux. A GT4 car on the inside as well. Kranifus and Nin are checking up at the hairpin. But we got, oh, and Gary Gainsel gets turned around to the exit of the hairpin as well. Leroux brings it down pit lane. We've got absolute carnage on the exit of the hairpin, but that was the pass of the season.
Yeah, it really was. That was an absolute send here at this point, as it looks like that's what happened to Leroux. Oh, just misjudged it coming down into turn 8, knocked that outside tire barrier, and that's what set off this whole sequence of events.
But then we have to keep watching that, because you see Greg Doucette coming through. We're going to get a replay of that overtake there, because that is one for the highlight reels this season. Leroux is down pit lane getting his damage repaired. Corey Precker as well, but here is Greg Doucette. He says, Leroux, I'm coming through.
And I'm not even sure if Doucette meant to do that. It looked like with the way the car was bobbling a little bit that he actually may have outbraked himself coming down into the corner. But here come the leaders in GT4 coming down into pit lane.
All of the leaders except Ted Lowendick, though, interestingly. Let's remember these pit times. Justin Ream spent 11.1 seconds in the pits. The rest of the field, pretty similar. 11.9 for Brett Punkari, about 12 seconds deeper in the field. But what's it going to be for Wildman? 12 seconds, 13 seconds, 13.7 seconds. That's a long stop for him. Tobin makes up 6/10. Cade Smith makes up a couple as well.
All right, this is going to set everything up here at this point. Maybe Lowendick's going to be able to do a little bit better. Here comes Reed. Now, remember, this pit lane is very, very long, although it does look like at this point Wildman and Tobin are going to be able to get up to speed. Reem's going to be closing here at this point. I don't think he's going to be close enough to be able to make a move, but Reem definitely gaining some positions.
He's going to be in the conversation with Cade Smith coming through turn 1. You have to be careful on that pit exit not to cross over that double yellow line. But Cade Smith does come out right ahead of Justin Ream, and he's going to be feeling the pressure all race long. Ted Lowendick hasn't brought it down, though, and with a slightly longer stop for Wildman, I do wonder, has Ted Lowendick been able to save a little bit of fuel? Ted, you're coming into the pits this lap, I assume. Have you been able to save any fuel? Do you think you might be able to jump Wildman here? We'll wait for him to bring it down pit lane. We'll let him get it slowed down. We'll let him unmute his mic. Ted, what's going to go on here?
We're going to find out. I saved a little bit of fuel. I didn't save as much as I wanted to. The traffic played a little bit of a role. We'll see.
We'll see. I know I normally challenge you by getting you to talk and drive, but I think coming down pit lane, getting the pit limiter on, and pressing the mic, that's difficult even for you.
Yeah, I got to wait until it tells me to go.
10 seconds, 11 seconds, 12 seconds, 11.8 seconds. That's 2 seconds faster than Graham Wildman. Let's see how the blend goes. Ted and Graham, the battle for the win on pit exit.
It's the battle of the best childhood snack ever.
Let's see. Here we go. Ted Cone. I just realized what you said. Teddy Graham. It is a battle. Ted past the green cone, full throttle. Graham's coming full speed. They're going to be side by side to turn 1 potentially, but Wildman does clear him, DJ.
But then I get the second place. Oh, hello.
No! Contact there to the outside wall.
No.
We're on board with Ted.
Oh, man. Uh-oh.
How's the car? Is it all right?
Well, this is awkward. It seems
Kaelin's
to be
isn't.
okay.
It's not often you get a live reaction to a driver crashing, but I'm glad we got to share this experience, Ted.
Thank you. I wish it wouldn't have happened, but now we got to put our head down and try to catch Graham, so...
Well, I wish you good luck. We'll let you get back to your damaged Mercedes, and maybe we'll see you at the end.
Thanks.
Ted Lowendick. How beautiful is that, DJ? You don't get that anywhere else.
No, you really don't. That's the beauties of sim racing right there. I'd love to hear that Teddy's laughing about it a little bit and having some good fun with it. That's the kind of personality that we expect. But if I'm Ted here at this point, I'm going to be a little bit more worried about what's coming up from behind. Arcade Smith, Justin Ream, within a second and a half of them. But they're in the same shot right now. Doucette, Nin, and Kranifus. Throw a blanket over them. We got a battle for P2 up in LMP3.
And notice that about 12 seconds ahead of this battle as well, Jason Drescher is not even a participant in this race. He is just dominating this, and we'll probably say his name one more time in about 8 minutes, but until then, he is just going to be cruising. A little bit wide, though, for Doucette out of turn 5. Could that open the door for Kwok here into turn 6? A little bit too far back for Kwok to make it happen that time, but he's within 3/10 now. Another good exit out of turn 7. If he can get an exit out of turn 8, he might have a shot into turn 9.
All right, let's see if he's able to get a little bit of a play here at this point. Let's wait and look. Nin closing in behind. He's in the podium positions here at this point. So let's wait to see if he's going to get anything. Not down into 9. He's going to have to wait, but a car off in front.
John Krauser opens the door. Shockingly, you don't normally have a GT4 car open the door like that, but Krauser a little bit damaged potentially. He's actually going to be to the inside of Kranifus, though, through the hairpin. That's going to get resolved eventually, but a little bit awkward for all of them. And Kranifus is forced down pit lane, but that is a scheduled stop for him. 21 laps of that stint are done. Kranifus comes down for his scheduled service, and Maxime David, that's not what he wanted to happen, out of turn number 5.
No, more problems there for the BMW driver. We talked about how he was trying to recover his way up through the field here at this point. Looks like he is going to have more recovery to do here as he goes. Also an issue with Corey Precker.
Oof. Precker in the LMP3 car coming through, was having such a good day. Comes very much undone for the YS Motorsport driver. Very well done by everybody coming through there, by the way. Michael Doyle was onto the scene and did a good job of avoiding the broadside Precker. We did hear in the chat, by the way, DJ, that Michael Doyle's car, the mysterious eyes or mouths that you're about to see come up on the screen, it's Kaufmo, which is a character from some internet show, and it's getting even more crazy at the hairpin. We can't have one thought without something kicking off here at Long Beach.
Well, that's Long Beach in a nutshell for you here at this point. That was David causing a little bit of chaos there. Looks like Maxime's taking a tow down into pit lane here at this point. We, though, follow right now. This is Kwok Nin promoted into second place, and Drescher comes down into pit lane. This may be a little close. No, Nin's got to come down too. Never mind, ignore me.
Yeah, Kwok will have to come down. Ducetis to come down as well. It's going to be a battle for the podium, though, with LaRue, or not with LaRue, rather, but with Kranifus coming through. Ted is not going to be in the battle for the win in GT4, though, unfortunately, with that little skirmish with Kalen Tobin. It's lost him 4 seconds to Graham Wildman. It's going to be a pretty hot fight for second, though, with Cade Smith behind, with Justin Ream in this as well. Justin had no practice coming into the practice session today, and he's still going to be in conversation for second.
All right, here he goes at this point as we take a look at the chaos down into the hairpin. And unfortunately, I got to put that blame a little bit on Maxime David. Just brought it in a little bit too tough and ran into Kenny Gorman there, and that's what really precipitated all that chaos.
Yeah, just a little bit of GT4 bowling. Poor old Gorman, Kenny Gorman this week, but he'll be back next season, and his brother Dan Gorman will be back as well. We will see the Gorman family together again in GT4 next season, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to hopefully some better luck for those two guys, because they show up every week, and it seems like very often they end up getting taken out in problems that aren't their own, but they're racers. They'll be back. Battle for second rages on, though. Mercedes v. Mercedes, but potentially perfectly clean Mercedes of Cade Smith versus slightly damaged Mercedes of Ted Lowendick.
Yeah, and I think Teddy may have picked up a little bit more damage there running down in through turns 4 and 5. Looks like he just brushed the wall ever so slightly, making that out and around, so that's going to be a little bit of a rough run for them.
It's into the braking zone of turn 8. It's always an understeer fest, especially if the car isn't set up like you want it to be. But Ted's had a solid exit. Cade Smith has had a solid exit as well. Justin Ream is just kind of along for the ride right now in his Porsche. We know the Mercedes are very fast in a straight line. The Porsche going to be pretty nimble, though, and that looked pretty nimble through turn 9. Is he going to be able to find a way to the inside into the hairpin? Not quite yet. He's going to be looking for another opportunity, potentially into turn 1. Not going to happen this time, though.
Well, we've only got 4 minutes left to go in this race, so if Arcade Smith wants to get a run, or if Justin Ream wants to take a 2-for-1, they have got to get a hurry on here and really get jumping.
And pit cycle's over in LMP3 as well. Everybody has made their pit stop. Jason Drescher comes out of it with an 11-second lead. Kwok Nin comes out of it with second place. He's had a fantastic pit cycle, jumping his way from 4th to 2nd. This could be an excellent day for Kwok if it all goes well for him. Nikos Sanadakis coming out of the pits in the LMP3. He's just going to be fighting for P5, which is going to be his best result of the season, if I'm not mistaken. He's going to run away from these guys and just look to bring it home.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what he's going to try to do here at this point. Just scamper off down the road as much as possible, much like the leader in LMP3, Jason Drescher, has been able to do over the course of this race.
Look at how close Ream is to the back of Smith, though. They were only separated by about a 10th coming through turn 6 and 7. Separates out, though. You can be fast on entry and slow on exit, and Ream was a little bit too slow on exit. Salaputis, though, in LMP3, a little bit too fast on entry there.
Yeah, just going to bring the car in. Good use of the runoff area, making sure that nothing really happened there to him, that he was able to keep that together. Now it looks like Arcade Smith having a little bit of a mirror full. I think that's Kwok Nin coming up behind him right now. No, excuse me, that's Vincent LaRue, as LaRue kind of muscles his way down to the inside, pushing his way on through, and that gave Teddy Lowendick all kinds of time.
Ted gets to run away, and Justin Ream looking for the move. It's better acceleration for the Mercedes, though. Justin's going to have to use the full effect of the draft here, make that Porsche as fast as it can possibly be, but his top speed is absolutely nothing for the top speed of that Mercedes. He has made up no time in the draft. He's going to have to look for another opportunity as Cade Smith is deep into turn one, clips the wall, and that's how Justin Ream gets through.
And Ream is going to be able to make that move work, move Ream up into the podium positions into P3, but with only 2 minutes left on the clock and Jason Drescher working his way through the back half of the circuit right now, I think we're going to be about 2 laps to go at the line.
Indeed we are. He's going to get by Doug Evans. No harm, no foul there. Have to give Doug Evans some credit here. I think he's had a largely clean race, hasn't gotten taken out by any LMP3 cars, and has just kept totally quiet, and he's going to get a P8 for his efforts. Excellent drive from him. You just saw Adam Ostrich bring it down pit lane, by the way. I think he's reached the incident limit. Very unfortunate for the driver who won his first race last week, and that is that's a Porsche with, I think, the low downforce setup. There's no rear wing on that car anymore.
No, there is not any rear wing at that point. That car is not going to run well. I can tell you that right now. There's what happened. Brought it down in. And
oh, no.
Austin Powers did it in the worst possible way.
He found a parking space, though. You know that's hard to do.
He did. And credit to him. He did find a parking space in Long Beach that doesn't cost you $37.
And I can tell you that the Flying Ostrich himself will be back next season. He's going to be another driver to look at in the championship. Like I said, won his first race when we had the Justin Ream power vacuum last week at Okayama, and he's going to be in that Porsche that did Justin Ream so well this season. So you can very much look forward to that in the PRL in a couple of weeks. But in the meantime, right now, Jason Drescher is going to come out of the hairpin to take the white flag and potentially be 1 lap away from his first PRL championship. He needed to fight against a number today. His championship rival, Dayton Lowe, was not here, and all Jason could do today was win, and he might be able to do that if he can hang on for 1 more lap.
Well, hanging on 1 more lap at Long Beach is easier said than done, but we've got a little bit of chaos coming through the hairpin.
Doucette, Cranifus, Jennings, and Gorman, and Romig. Oh my, that's a lot of syllables, and it is getting crazy here, but this is the battle for the podium. Doucette finds his way through. He finds about 5 extra chicanes on the front straight at Long Beach. Cranifus is going to look for an opportunity to take that podium back. It's not going to come in turn 1, though. A little bit too far back. There is nothing separating these 2 cars, though. Cranifus is going to look for a way by on the final lap.
Going to try to look for a way by here at this point, but that's easier said than done around this point of the track. Got to try to keep it together and wait for the opportunity. Contact between the 2.
Intersecting bodywork there. The cameras met each other very, very closely. That tells you Cranifus is pushing, and that may tell you that Doucette might be saving a little bit of fuel. He's somewhat slow on entry, recovers though, and keeps it moving. We have to look about 15 seconds up the road though, because coming out of the hairpin, Jason Drescher came into this season with a little bit of LMP3 experience. He had podiums, he had good races. He won his first race very early on in the season, made himself a championship contender, and in a race against a number, Jason Drescher hits that number, wins the championship by 2 points over Dayton Lowe, and Jason Drescher is your champion in LMP3 in the PRL.
A true champion's drive here from Drescher. Absolutely impressive stuff from him. We also take a look at the side screen there of your leader in the GT4 categories. That is the Wildman himself, Graham Wildman, working his way on through onto the back straightaway, coming around for a flag-to-flag victory.
And you know the chat is going to be rooting this on. He hasn't actually been the fastest here in the final stint. He's bled a little bit of this gap back to Ted Lowendick, but this is a driver who knows how to control a race. When he won his first race in the PRL last season, it was against the Titan Alexis Moisan, and Graham held him back for 35 straight minutes. But now at Long Beach, in the most difficult of circumstances, the McLaren of Graham Wildman is going to win, and he'll take his 2nd win in the PRL. Ted Lowendick comes home second, and in third, after a historic season, Justin Ream loses one singular race, but still wins the championship absolutely dominantly. He ends the season with 23 wins. It put him all-time in the PRL. He's in the top 10 in terms of wins. We won't see him next season, but you know we haven't seen the last of Justin Ream.
No, we certainly have not. Ream is a competitor through and through, and rest assured he is going to be back, and he is going to be ready to fight when he does.
The two Soy Boys racing cars laughing at each other in turn one. We got them confused today, but there's not going to be any confusing this now. Graham Wildman, a race winner, and if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to check the data right now really quick. Soy Boys Racing, yes, will be your team's champions this season, so very well done to them as far as I know. My math could be wrong. I don't think it is. Anyway, in LMP3, Jason Drescher, we absolutely know that he'll be the champion. Point for the win, point for the fastest lap, point for pole. That's 57 points. That's more than 55. Jason is the champion. Kwok Nin, though, second place for him. A phenomenal performance from him at the street circuit. Greg Doucette comes home with the podium after a battle with Daniel Kranifus. Sanadakis gets his first top 5 of the season, and Corey Precker and Nicholas Salaputis round out the lead lap finishers. Vincent Leroux had a very solid day, ended in an unfortunate crash for him, though. Karangis and Starker, they ended up in the used car lot 3 and 5 laps down. Dinsmore and Kimball, even more used car lot stuff down there. Very damaged cars, 10 and 22 laps down, respectively. In GT4, though, Soy Boys Racing and Graham Wildman come home with the win. Ted Lowendick comes home in second, and Justin Ream comes home in third and clinches the championship in GT4. Excellent performance from him all season long. It was 7 out of 8 wins for him, and that'll be his second GT4 championship in the PRL. Cade Smith and Brett Punkari were the last lead lap finishers. Technically, Michael Doyle, Tim McLeish, and Doug Evans, a phenomenal race from him down to the end of the top 8. Jennings and Krauser round out the top 10. 11th place went to the other Jennings, Nathan Jennings, and Robert McGeehan for Soy Boys Racing clinches the championship for Soy Boys Racing. He only finished 4 spots behind Doug Evans for the Miracle Flow Misfits. That does mean that Soy Boys Racing wins the GT4 Teams Championship. Adam Ostrich, bad luck for the defending winner. He finishes 13th. And then Niall Drake, Kenny Gorman, Sean Romig, Gary Gainesville, Maxime David, Kalen Tobin, and Matthew Zerwick bring us down to the end of the top 20. Duncan Starostka also in the used car lot after early trouble, 21 laps down in 21st. But I say every week we're ready to talk to some happy drivers, but I think this is going to be the happiest driver yet because we have our race winner and champion, Jason Drescher, here with us. Jason, you came into this week, you knew you were going to be racing against a number, you knew you had to win at Long Beach. How much went into this today?
I tell you what, that was amazing. Did a lot of practice. Yeah, I was watching the fastest laps too, so I lost it there for a minute, so I was a little stressed during the race, but yeah, it's amazing.
But talk us through the rest of the emotions, because you've won your first championship, you won 3 of your first races in the PRL this season, and you're going to come into next season as a defending champion now.
I can't believe it. First off, Dayton Lowe, unbelievable. He deserves it. I wish he was here. Yeah, I am. It's. I don't even know. I'm at a loss for words right now.
Well, Jason, we'll let you find some words. We have to hopefully see you in the All-Star Invitational coming up at the end of the week with your 3 wins. But until we see you then, potentially, congratulations on this championship and good luck in the coming weeks until we see you again.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to race with everybody on track, and I look forward to next season, and I'll be at the All-Star.
Yes, accept your league invite. It's waiting for you. I hope you can find it. Yes, let's go. Jason Drescher coming home with the win and the championship. Very, very happy driver there. We'll wait for Justin Ream. We will get a chat with our champion, but before that, we're going to talk with our race winner. It might feel like a championship for him because Graham Wildman is a race winner again, and he's talking to DJ.
Graham able to take a flag-to-flag victory here. Does the fact that this is one of the trickiest circuits on the iRacing service make it just all the sweeter?
Oh yeah, I mean this is what we race for, right? You know, qualifying on pole, making it to the end. This track was finally a track that suited my car, so I made the most of it.
Well, you certainly made the most of it. Had to have a little bit of breathing down your neck there. How'd you handle that pressure?
Yeah, well, Kalen was definitely keeping me honest there for the first stint, and then I think he had some kind of incident I'm going to have to go back and watch. At that point, I knew I had a 4-second gap, so I was just trying to keep it clean, not make any mistakes. I was just, leaving a bit of margin there for the last 10 minutes.
Well, you left a good bit of margin. You came away with the victory. What does next season hold, my friend?
Next season, I'm moving on to the ovals. Figured I'd give the truck series a try and see how it goes. So, Joey, I think you're in there as well, so I'll see you on track.
Well, fantastic. I know he'll be looking forward to seeing you. Joey, anything you want to say to your new competitor?
Well, I don't want to break your heart, Graham, but I won't be racing on Wednesday nights next season, but I will see you on Sunday night when you're racing in the All-Star Invitational.
All right, let's see if I can pull out a win on that one.
Love it. Graham Wildman, you're victor here in GT4.
Thanks, fellas. Have a good one.
Always a popular interview. Always going to be the one that gets clipped off and sent to the family members on Facebook. But let's go back up to LMP3 for just a moment, because Kwok Nin has come home on the podium for the first time this season. You and the Long Beach Street Circuit, just perfect match today.
Yes, sir. I honestly, I didn't think I was going to end this high, but I didn't even put that much in practice either. I think I learned some tricks here and there with the braking on how I used to brake and how I brake now, which helped out a lot.
Well, we know, I believe that you won't be back in the LMP3 series next season, but where are we going to see you on track in the PRL next season?
Probably the GTP next season.
Love to see it. Promotion for Kwok, faster prototypes. I look forward to seeing you next season, and congrats on the podium this week.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for the broadcast.
Kwok Nin coming home on the podium. Great to see him have that success. But before we get down to the rest of the podium in GT4, let's go all the way down to third, and let's talk to our defending champion, or our now champion, however you want to mathematically say that. Justin Ream is our champion, and he's with DJ.
Justin Ream, maybe not the best performance there out for you under the day. Had to qualify a little bit back, but you are champion, my friend. How does it feel?
It feels good now that that race is over with. I absolutely hate that track, but I probably should have put in a little bit more practice as well. It probably would have helped, but yeah, Graham had some really good pace, and so did everyone else up front. So I think I only picked up positions because people kind of banged into the walls. So.
Well, was that kind of half of the strategy when you're driving here at Long Beach? Just keep it clean and pray somebody's got a little bit of an issue in front of you?
Yeah, that as well, and I was tried pitting much earlier, so I didn't get as much of the LMP3 traffic, but I had a lot of mistakes, and I think I kind of hit the wall a couple times after I pitted too, so didn't really work out, it didn't really work out as planned, but I managed to pick up a couple places, so.
Well, happy to see it. And what's next season in store for you? Here that you're going to be moving on up, is that correct?
Yeah, I'm moving to the Porsche Canada, Porsche Canada Esports Series, so that's what I'll be focusing on.
Well, Justin, we wish you all the luck in the world in that series, and we hope to see you back at the PRL when that is all wrapped up, because I think you've got some records to chase, my friend.
All right, thanks, guys. It was a lot of fun.
All right, thank you, Justin Ream. That was your champion of the GT4 category, Justin Ream.
And one more driver, maybe in conversation for being the people's champion in GT4. Mr. Ted Lowendick came home in second in GT4, but Ted, we got live commentary of your little incident in turn one. How much damage did that give you?
Looking at it after the race, had a little dinger there on the front right. It definitely explains why it wasn't turning as well to the right. And of course, the most important corner on this corner is a sharp right turn, so it was a bit rough. But
you think you could have beaten Graham if that didn't happen?
We were catching him. I mean, we would have been a lot closer. I don't know if I would have been able to pass him. It's almost like follow the leader, but it would have made it more interesting. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy with the P2. I thought I was off the pace based off the race I did last night, but must have been against a couple of aliens, and they beat me by a second. So happy to at least finish on the podium tonight. So especially after the pit exit shenaniganry that happened.
Well, on Sunday night, we're going to have you in the All-Star Invitational representing the Grand National Series, because that's where you won. We're going to have Graham representing the LMP3-GT4 Series, because that's where he won. How's that rivalry going to go on Sunday night when you're in the same car again?
Well, I mean, it's probably going to be all next season, too, because I think he signed up for
championship
GT4,
battle.
So, hey, we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll switch cars to make it a little more interesting. Maybe he will. Maybe he won't. Who knows?
You guys better start trash-talking each other.
Yeah. Well, he's got a bigger following than I do in the chat, so I don't want to get too crazy. But
we got to ham it up for the fans. We got to ham it up for the fans. Ted, congrats on a podium. I'll see you on Sunday, and I'll see you next season as well.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Theodore Lowendick coming home. P2 DJ. What a beautiful day. Lots of happy drivers in LMP3 and GT4. That's what we like to hear.
Exactly, and I think half of those drivers are a little bit just happy to survive to the end of Long Beach, as you sort of heard Justin Reams say there at that point, but always a good way to end it. A little bit of chaos coming in at the end. Always a fun way to be able to see it. And my only sad thing is, like I said, it's the last time I'm going to be able to call that series with you, Joey, and it's always presented some great action over the course of the year.
But don't cry yet, DJ, because racing is not done for Monday night. The LMP3-GT4 challenge might be over for the season. We'll put them to sleep for a couple of weeks, but we have GTP LMP2 racing to continue with here. The season finale, the championship finale at jolly old Silverstone. I can't do a British accent. I'm going to let you handle that.
If you want me to do a British accent, it's not too hard. I'm a little bit better.
Exactly. That's that Shakespearean training over there.
Exactly. That's my voice and diction training coming out to play.
We love to see it. We've been all around the world. All the world's a stage, something like that. We started at Long Beach. How fitting was that? Ended the season in one series at Long Beach, started it in another, and it was just the who's who, the where's where of top-level prototype tracks. Watkins Glen, Daytona, the Nürburgring, Sebring, Spa, Aragon, and Montreal as well last week, which was crazy in its own right. We also didn't go to Spa. We went to Mugello. I already forgot that replaced that track. But we end the season here at Silverstone, a Grade 1 track, which could open the door for some of the drivers who have been very successful at places like Aragon and Montreal and Mugello and the other Grade 1 tracks in the calendar. We'll see what can happen. We know that nothing's going to happen in GTP because at his home race, even though he had an absolute nightmare of a race where he crashed with lap traffic, Pat Pelshaw still clinched the championship, and he said, I've got enough of a margin that I don't even need to race this week. So he spent this entire week helping his teammate Daniel Zegers prepare for LMP2, and Pat himself will not actually be racing tonight, so any of those other 9 guys could win.
Yeah, it's going to open up the standings there a little bit, and I love that sense of teamwork that you get that Pelshaw just kind of recognized, I want to try to put everything I can in here and try to help out Zegers, who is in a very close battle in that LMP2 standing.
And not many other drivers have won this season in GTP. Daniel Harris won. He was on a little bit of a part-time schedule, though, with some weather and technical issues, so he's not in the top 10. Nathan Bartley won last week. He won his first race in the PRL after Pat had a little bit of a bad day, but lots of drivers on this list who have won races in the PRL who are looking for their first win in this series specifically. In the Teams Championship, do we even need to look at that? It's actually gotten a little bit closer with Pat Pelshaw having a bad day last week and his teammates not quite showing up, but still, that is an insurmountable lead, a 106-point lead that is mathematically impossible to beat as far as I know. I could be wrong on that math, but I don't think I am. SRT, they're going to be happy with second, though. They've had a solid season. And the Piston Pirates, our old buddies in those orange and blue cars, they've just had a very, very consistent run this season, and they'll be very happy with third in the Teams Championship, I can guarantee there. LMP2, though, that is the championship to watch here. It's the closest championship of the night, DJ. 4 points separate Zegers and Hedgecox, and depending on how the bonus points go, that could be just 1 position of separation.
Yeah, could be very, very close. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this battle between Zegers and Hedgecox. That's going to be the big talking point going into this race.
If Jack Hedgecox wins this race and scores all the bonus points, he'll get 57 points. If Daniel Zegers finishes second with no bonus points, he only gets 52 points. Could that be the way this championship is decided? There's so many scenarios. We can only wait and see. Sorrentino and Chinsky and Wallace and maybe even Caleb Lehman are going to be fighting for third in championship. And Belair, Carroll, Quinton Mon, they're all pretty close as well. Carroll and Belair more so. Quinton Mon, they're battling with each other for those last spots in the top 10. The Teams Championship in LMP2, just as close. The Drivers Championship is separated by 4 points. The Teams Championship is separated by 4 points as well. SRT and PRE. I can't say that too many times, and I'm sure I'll fumble that many times tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit interesting to try to keep all that together, but I'll tell you what, it's going to be good battling there in both of those categories. It's really going to come down to the wire, and what better place to do it than here at Silverstone, where passing is at a plenty.
Plenty of passing, plenty of racing history. What is going to go on here? We're going to have a lot more focus on LMP2 than we normally do because that is the championship battle. By the way, I believe I can confirm, we confirmed that Soy Boys Racing clinched the GT4 Teams Championship a little bit earlier. Throttle Thursday were able to clinch the LMP3 Teams Championship as well. It may have been Grant's Garage that won the race with Jason Drescher, but there were just too many drivers all season long for Throttle Thursday, so congrats to them for coming home with what I believe is their first team's championship in the PRL, and it's a very big accomplishment for them. They've been everywhere. GT3, GT4, prototypes, an open wheel. Throttle Thursday will, I believe, get their first team's championship.
Yeah, I think they will as well. Going to be very, very fantastic there for them. Going to be a good way to run things off. But right now, looks like it's Zegers with the first blood here, as Hedgecock still has yet to put a time down on the board.
And Jack was fastest in practice, so he has absolutely laid the gauntlet down, but he's only got a few more minutes left on the clock with a lap time that's just under 2 minutes, about 10 seconds under 2 minutes. If you're not getting your lap times in early, you're not going to get all 4 of them here out on track.
Yeah, it's a long lap around Silverstone. We often forget just how big of a circuit this is, but it's 3.66 miles, which is one of the longer ones that we go to over the course of the year. And you do have to be a little bit careful. There's plenty of paved runoff around here that can come out and grab you.
Current standings in GTP, Boris Ovando currently on pole. He's won a race this season. He won at Aragon a few weeks ago. Aiden Young has not yet won a race in the PRL. He's looking for this as a big opportunity for him. Ryan O'Connor has also never won. Could be a huge opportunity for him. He was so fast in this car last season, has been on a little bit more of a part-time basis this season, hasn't been able to make it to all the races, but he loves these Grade 1 style tracks as well. He loves that GTP. We could see him be in the conversation for his first win today. Jack Hedgecock has won plenty of races, though, in the PRL. He's not going to be successful on this lap, I believe. I think this has been a little bit of an out lap, but now Jack Hedgecock is on the clock to see what he can do.
All right, let's see what Jack's got coming down the old start-finish straightaway and into Cops Corner. An absolute fly of a run. Excuse me, that's the new start-finish straightaway. This track already trying to confuse me here, Joey.
It is. They changed it, what, like 15 years ago or so, and they basically just flipped it around. So it's just maximum confusion. The start-finish straight is the back straight now. The front straight is the back straight. It's too many things to juggle.
Yeah, too many to juggle. It's just, it gets confusing, and it really tries to throw you out. But here at this point, here comes Hedgecock's down now into the braking zone. Fling that car through deceptively quick corners here at Silverstone as they try to keep everything going around here. And now he's going to come down into Woodcut in Luffield. Let's see what he's got.
And these points matter a lot. It may only be 1 point for pole, but that could be the difference in having to get one extra spot in the race to score the extra point. If Daniel Zegers is on pole right now, that expands the championship gap from 4 points to 5 points. And that could be one more position that Jack Hedgecock would need to beat Zegers by once the race comes around. But he's going to be looking for pole. He's going to be looking to match his practice time through Maggots and Beckett's. Looks absolutely hooked up here. This looks fast. It can't guarantee that it is fast, but it certainly looks fast.
Yeah, it certainly does. Let's see what he's got here as he comes to the line, trying to be able to beat that time set down by Zegers, a 146.20. Let's see what he's got as he comes over the crest here, bringing the car back down out of Stowe and into the Vale chicane.
If Jack Hedgecock pulls this off, he'll be tied for most pole positions in a prototype in the PRL, tied with Daniel Harris. But out of the final corner, is he going to be able to beat Zegers off the top across the line? He's not going to be able to on that lap, a 146.5. He needs to find 3 more tenths, and I believe he crossed the line just fast enough that he'll get one more shot.
Yeah, it's going to be close, but Zegers has got more to put in it here at this point. The number 10 now coming through in down out of the corners right now. He's going to fling his way down the long straightaway here as he tries to maybe warm up the tires a little bit, getting everything set up, diving down into Stowe right now. Let's see if Zegers is able to improve. I'm looking at his timings. I am seeing some green on that lap chart.
And that is not what Jack Hedgecock wants to see. Michael Diaz up into third in GTP. O'Connor immediately steals that from him, but the PRE driver in LMP2 is on your screen. Zegers out of the final corner. No improvement, almost identical to his pole lap. And now all he can do is wait. It's a race against the clock right now. You can see the clock on the top. You can see the clock on the bottom. By my math, DJ, I think Jack Hedgecock might cross the line exactly as the clock hits 0. He's not going to cross the line, though. He's wide. Hedgecock will start second, and Aiden Young in GTP steals pole in the dying moments.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Talk about a little bit of a surprise there. Wow, oh, wow.
Could Frankie Arvello be another surprise? No, he can't. He'll start third, but still an excellent qualifying from Frankie. He's been very, very fast in qualifying this season. Michael Belair may be the last driver to get a lap time. Only a couple more seconds on the clock. He's currently P10, a little bit lower than he would have liked. His teammate Doug Sorrentino only a 10th up on him, up in P6, hopping over the curb into the final chicane and out of the final corner. I don't think it's tracking well for Belair, unfortunately. He's going to cross the line a little bit slower. It'll be P10 for him. And it'll be Aiden Young and Daniel Zegers starting from pole in GTP and LMP2. But that's already a little bit of a loss for Hedgecox, DJ. That's one more point that separates him from Zegers now.
Yeah, and he's going to have to try to claw that back here at this point and get his way forward. But that's going to set up for one fascinating race.
And it's going to be fascinating in GTP as well. Aiden Young will start from pole for the first time in the Precision Racing League. He's going to be looking for his first win as well, but he's got a blue armada from the Precision Racing Esports team behind him. Boris Ovando's won a race this season. He's looking to steal it from Aiden just like he did at Aragon. Ryan O'Connor looking for his first win. Michael Diaz not looking for his first win, but just looking for a little bit of glory after missing a couple races this season. SRT, they're just holding on to potentially getting a race win this season. Dave Menino and J.R. Williams will start on row number 3. Eric Palacio and Stephen Verity round out the top 8. Nathan Ray, P9 for the Piston Pirates, continuing his exceptional run this season. And Jeff Evans, the top 10 Meister in a GTP car, will start at the end of the top 10. Zach Hebert's back for Echelon. He starts alongside Grigor Georgiev. Unlucky 13th behind him was Nicholas Schwartz. And last but not least, Darian Roy rounds out 14 GTP entries to finish off the season. In LMP2, though, these guys were separated by 4 points coming into this. With a bonus point for pole, Daniel Zegers now has a 5-point championship lead over Jack Hedgecox. Frankie Arvello and Joshua Chinsky make up row number 2. Luke Wallace and Doug Sorrentino round out the top half dozen. But down behind them, P7 went to Nicholas Goen. He starts alongside his brother Josh Goen. Lehman and Belair round out the top 10. John Leedy, P11, good qualifying from him, alongside Eugene Maltsev for the third Goen Racing Ruby car. Matt Carroll, Chip Michaels, Blake Ziti, and Karsten Quint bring us down to P16. Nathan Mons trying to hold on to the top 10 of the championship. He starts alongside the first of the Chandlers, Ryan Chandler. Reagan Chandler is the second of the two. Edward Vardanessian will start last in LMP2, last qualifying time on the board, but Andrew Wood will actually start from the back of the field. I do see him on the grid despite not getting a qualifying lap in. He will be there, and that adds up to 35 cars taking on Silverstone for the championship finale.
Oh, it doesn't get a whole lot better than this, let me tell you. Let's get these cars locked up and ready to go. Young, Ovando on the pole, ready to dive down into the first corner. Let's get ready to rip, Joey.
Aiden Young in his young PRL career has never been on pole. He's never won a race, but he leads the field to green in the fiercely forward Acura. There's already trouble at the back of the field as Grigor Georgiev and Nicholas Schwartz come together. They spin, they'll get going again. LMP2 is on the scene, and there's a spun car of Grigor Georgiev getting out of the way and opening the door. This is the battle for the championship on the left side of your screen, though. Zegers in P1, Hedgecox in P2. It's flipped around. Hedgecox got the jump on Zegers. Hedgecox leads in LMP2.
Oh, there it is, right from the drop of the green flag. Exactly what we kind of thought we might see there. A big move for him.
And Zegers gets tagged. Zegers spins around, and suddenly the championship is wide open. A 5-point gap now expands the other way in Hedgecox's direction as Zegers falls to the back of the field.
Oh, Zegers at the back of the field here at this point. He's going to have to re-rack, restack, and try this all again. It could be a little bit too much too often here for Zegers. We'll have to see what he's able to do.
Comebacks are very possible in this series, though. Remember Watkins Glen, when Hedgecox was forced to the back of the field, drove his way all the way back up to third. Zegers is going to need a similar performance. He needs to finish second to keep this championship alive, and this might help him. Side by side for second. It's going to allow Hedgecox to run away, but it may close up this LMP2 field even more. It's a battle for third. It's a 3-car battle for third coming into Magus and Beckett's.
All right, here they go, trying to sort themselves out. Let's see what they're able to get to play here at this point. Trying to sort themselves ready to go. Hedgecox scampering away into the distance after his competitors have gone.
And that could not have gone any worse for Zegers. You do have to remember that in this series, when GTP gets the green flag, LMP2 gets the green flag as well. So they may have been a little bit further back from the line, but racing conditions were enabled, and Hedgecox took that opportunity to jump Zegers, to pull out a lead. And that could have been the championship winning move there, though. Here it is, coming through the loop. Zegers is in second place, and to the inside, oh dear, that was Joshua Chinsky who got into Zegers.
Yeah, it was, and that may be something that Race Control takes a little bit of a look at after the race. Remember that it is not live stewarding here. Any and all situations are adjudicated after the race.
And Zegers was going to be kicking himself there, because even with Hedgecox jumping him, if Zegers stayed where he was, he would have won the championship on countback, finishing second. That's exactly why he needs to get back there, because anything less will no longer win him this championship. He's already up one more spot. He's gotten by Reagan Chandler to P20, but you can see all the way at the back of the train. Let's ride on board with Joshua Chinsky coming into the loop. Oh, the barest bit of contact.
Yeah, Chinsky was just a little bit too aggressive with the way he went into the loop there at that point. Just poked his nose, I think, where he necessarily didn't need to do so, and that's what came back to bite him.
So much drama in LMP2 that we haven't had the opportunity to look at GTP, but it's Precision Racing Esports Civil War as Diaz and Ovando get by Michael Diaz. Little bit of potentially a slowdown there for O'Connor as he let both of his teammates by coming down the hangar straight.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe he just clipped a little bit of Chapel there and had to bleed some time intelligently, and that's what happened there to him.
And this has all been good news for Aiden Young, but potentially that was some team orders looking to make that happen. We look back in LMP2, though, as they've decided to go crazy for P7. It's a Caleb Lehman train with the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Maltsev, Goen, and Leedy. All sorts of drama everywhere in this field.
Everybody starting to sort themselves out a little bit. This is exactly the kind of thing that we look for here at Silverstone. Constant overtaking, constant battling. We watch right now Goen trying to be able to get his way back around. Let's see what he's able to do to charge through the field with this long string of LMP2s.
Daniel Zegers update up to P17. Maybe more spots coming up here, because look at how close this train is. I think this is everybody in the field, DJ. This goes all the way back from Frankie Arvello to Karsten Quint in 20th. They're all within draft range of each other.
Yeah, they really are. There is absolutely nothing separating them here at this point. They are all compounded on one another. This is a crazy battle, and really the only one that's able to break away from any of it here is Jack Hedgecox.
And you have to imagine that Jack is going to be thinking, what is my luck here? He was the fastest driver in practice. He certainly put the preparation in to be successful this week, but he got the jump on the start. His championship rival gets taken out on lap 1. It has all gone Jack Hedgecox's way in his look to defend his LMP2 title, but there's still 40 minutes to go. Anything can happen, and I don't think he's going to be very comfortable right now. He'll be comfortable in the LMP2 fight for the moment with Arvello 3 seconds behind, but lap traffic hasn't been a conversation yet. The pit cycle hasn't been a conversation yet. Still plenty of developments to come.
Well, and this is a tricky track. I mean, this is not an easy track to drive. There's a bunch of rhythm breakers around here that if you find that rhythm, it's really, really fun to drive and really good. But if you get off that rhythm a little bit, you're going to find yourself in trouble. And so I think here for Hedgecox, he's just got to keep his head down and act like nothing has happened yet in this race.
The chase is on up in GTP. Aiden Young has been largely untouched in the opening laps, but since the Precision Racing Esports switch around, Diaz taking the lead of that group. He's set the fastest lap, and he's now within draft range. He's looking fiercely forward at the fiercely forward Acura.
Yeah, and that gap's come down to about 0.7 of a second here at this point as they continue to try to close on in. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that he's going to be able to close this up, and we're going to see a good fight before this race is said and done.
And how conservative are they going to be? How smart are they going to be as teammates? Does Boris say, I'm going to hang back behind you, Michael, I'll let you take charge, and I'll make sure I don't fight with you? Or do they say, hey, it's the final race of the season, we've already got the championship locked up, we might as well fight? There's two ways they can go about it.
I would not be surprised if this is a little bit of a free-for-all here at this point. There's nothing really too much hanging on the line right now with Pelshaw locking down the championship and Precision Racing Esports locking down the championship as well. I think this is going to have a little bit of fun play, and we almost see a little bit of that there as Ovando started to close up behind, but we take a look a little bit farther back in the field.
Grigor Georgiev, he's actually lapping some LMP2 traffic. He's passing them for position as at the start, him and Nicholas Schwartz came together before the green flag and really just put this Piston Pirates Porsche on the back foot. But Grigor is a driver who does not give up. I think he may have finished every single race this season, if I'm not mistaken. And he is going to finish the race no matter what happens. Here's what happened at turn one, before even turn one, turn -1, as Grigor Georgiev spins into Nicholas Schwartz.
Yeah, and that was just an issue there where Georgiev got a little bit too much speed, brought it out to the outside. I think ran afoul of those big anti-cut curbs on the outside and just found himself in a world of trouble.
And I will say, Grigor Georgiev has had one DNF this season. His only DNF was round 1. Since then, he has been totally clean, and he has been totally consistent. It's been great to see him improve all season long, and I think we'll see him next season as well in a GTP car, but I'll have to check the sign-up sheets on that. He's still got some work to do, though, with this LMP2 traffic, and he'll be able to have a little bit of fun here, at least for these opening stages of the race. It's so close everywhere on track, though, that it's almost impossible to know where to look, because look at this battle still for third from Sorrentino back to Goin. That's about 1 second separating 4 drivers still.
Yeah, absolutely remarkable stuff. It's almost like these cars need to be driving on these FIA Grade 1 circuits all the time. It is absolutely fantastic to watch.
And Nicholas Schwartz is on a recovery drive as well after getting turned around. I'm not sure how much damage he has, but he's actually ahead of this train. He actually managed to avoid getting stuck in LMP2 traffic, so he can look forward for a little bit of clean racing. Unfortunately, some of his teammates aren't here. Jeff Evans and Nicholas Schwartz are here for Whataback, but Bradley Holly and Mark Kalin once again not showing up to the GTP race. I still say they're a little bit scared, and I don't have to race with them again on Wednesday nights anymore, so I can say whatever I want now. I don't have to worry about them dumping me at Martinsville, which they wouldn't do. It would be me dumping them at Martinsville, as has happened. But we'll see.
Well, I'm glad that you at least have that good respect between the two of you to be able to call that out and have a little bit of fun with it there.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. They may be the series admins, so
yeah.
I won't cause any more cautions, I promise.
I'm going to hold you to that.
You can't cause any cautions if you don't race. That's the trade-off.
There you go. That's a good way to think about it. All right.
I call that the DJ Clark school of thought. Hop out of the sim. I'll be back one day. We'll see. Maybe I'll pick up an LMP2 car, because right now, looking at this train, I might not want to be Josh Goin right now because he's got 7 LMP2 cars behind him in draft range, but it does look like fun still.
Oh, I mean, these LMP2 cars and the GTPs are an absolute blast. If you're a fan of any sort of downforce cars, these cars really allow you to chuck them into the corner, have a good time with it, really enjoy the way that they drive. It's a lot of fun to race.
Nick McLaughlin asked in the chat, do broadcaster curses count for caution points? That's going to be my downfall. I'm still going to get caution points that way.
Yeah, if they do, we're both screwed on that, my
Zeggers to the inside. This is the recovery drive, DJ. This is what we got to keep watching here, because Zeggers is almost up into the top 10. He just got by the SRT car of Blake Ziti for P14. He's still got 12 more spots to make up, though, if he wants to win this championship.
I mean, it's going to be an uphill battle for Zeggers here at this point. He's really going to have to push and get his way up forward, but it's not out of the realm of possibility for him to catch the rest of the field. I think where he's going to run into problem, Frankie Arvello, Jack Hedgecox. That's where I see this progress being stopped.
Next car on his list is the bright white livery, which I do have to give some credit for. It's one of the most beautiful cars in the grid. Chip Michaels, very easily differentiable there with the gold and the porcelain white and the black. He may be racing for Goin Racing Sapphire, but it's a very unsapphire car, and I love it. They've made all their cars different colors. It makes all of them differentiable. That's what we want.
Yeah, and that really does help us up here on the booth, because I'll tell you right now, there is nothing more confusing than looking out at a field of 30 LMP cars and not knowing which one's which. It gets very, very confusing.
Now, don't look at the Precision Racing Esports Acuras in GTP.
Right.
At least the Precision Racing Academy LMP2 cars are a little bit different. Zeggers has the blue, Andrew Wood has the brown. Zeggers sends a little bit of a code brown on Chip Michaels. This was the bane of his existence on lap 1. Tried to go for the dive into the village. He's going to look for the switch back into the loop, using a little bit of the doors. And Daniel Zeggers makes up another spot up into P13.
Zeggers got a fire lit under him here at this point. He really wants to make a play, but it looks like here we got a little bit of a replay. This is the number 4, Stephen Verde, just catching a little bit of that curving down to the inside and losing a little bit of running there.
Yeah, behind Nathan Ray. Jeff Evans behind him as well. The pink Acura putting the fear in the eyes with that bright magenta. But now Zegers, we look at him again, looking to run away from Chip Michaels, looking to run into now the number 12 of Matt Carroll, and maybe get into the top 10 in a couple of moments. Nathan Ray, a little bit of fan service for him as well. We give Graham Wildman so much credit for having a fan brigade in the GT4 class in the previous series. Nathan Ray brings a whole host of people in his GTP runs. He throws it off the road, though, in turn 2.
Oh, and he's going to get it wrong there and have a big run to the outside right now. He's going to try to gather that car back up underneath him, and that's going to see him coming back out in 11th place.
That's Zach Hebert getting by as well. Zach brings some fandom in the chat as well. That's good stuff. And also, our friend SimSport Hub says, World of Racing says hello, DJ.
Hey! My good friends at World of Racing.
There you go. You get some fan shout-outs as well.
There you go. No, it's some good guys. If you are in the Pasadena or Southern California area, make your way out to Pasadena World of Racing. It is a world-class sim center. I am fortunate enough to, when I occasionally jump in the car and drive one of these GTPs, I was able to drive with them for the 24 Hours of Daytona. And that was an absolute blast and a half.
Can they pay for my flight to Pasadena?
I don't think so.
Darn. That might blow the whole budget.
Yeah, it might.
I haven't looked at intercontinental flight prices lately, but I imagine they're still not very good.
No, it's not great. It's a little rough, but, you know, it's one of the advantages of working for the series that I do is I get my flights covered, so I don't have to worry about it too much.
I've still never been to the LA area at all, and I need to change that. I've been especially inspired. I saw Dune 2 in theaters, and I was like, I got to go where the movies are now.
Don't do that. I did that for 10 years.
It calls me. Hollywood calls.
Well, I still have a few connections.
I don't think it's calling hard enough, though.
Okay, good.
Connecticut calls harder.
All right, there you go. Stay in Connecticut. It's nicer. I've spent time there.
I'll try. It is pretty nice here, and I don't believe I'm very far away from where Daniel Zegers is. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's a New York driver, potentially. I could be very wrong about that. Nope.
Midwest.
Entirely wrong. Entirely wrong. That would be mid-east, almost.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, he sends it to the Midwest of Matthew Carroll there. This is a driver who knows he has to get aggressive. He knows he still has 10 more spots to make up, and you're seeing overtakes made because of that. And now we see him down pit lane. I think this is a change in strategy. If he can't do it on track, he might have to do it in the pits.
Yeah, I like that call there from him. I like that idea to come down into pit lane and to dive his way in, try to make up some positions in pit lane. It's going to save you less oxygen on track. It's probably going to save you time.
And he is pulling into his pit stall. That tells you that it's not a penalty of any sort. This is a scheduled stop for him. We'll see how that shakes out. Back up in GTP, I mentioned the Precision Racing Esports Acuras. They may look identical, but Diaz leads over Ovando. Neither of them have been able to get by Aiden Young, though. They're tantalizingly close, within draft range, within about half a second. But the move has not been made or even attempted yet for Michael Diaz.
No, not yet. I think he's just holding on here at this point. I think he's sizing up his competition. Aiden's been up in the midst of these fights earlier on in the season, but we haven't seen a full-out slugfest between Aiden Young and Michael Diaz in quite a bit. And I think Diaz is just kind of biding his time, waiting to see what can happen, and maybe taking a leaf here out of Zegers' book and deciding to come down into pit lane at a different time to maybe jump that fiercely forward Acura to see if that's the way to get by him.
If you want a little bit of an ominous message from the chat, Arnaud Genet has checked in to say hello from race control. So if there's going to be any trouble here, if there's going to be any dives and any more collisions, you know Arnaud is already watching. He's preparing the final stewarding document of the year, I'm sure. But these are clean guys. They've had some good runs all season long. And this is a good exit out of Brooklands for Diaz within the draft. Maybe we'll see him go for a move in the second half of the lap. These guys are just as close, though. It's identical to the battle for the lead. This is just the battle for the end of the top 10 for P8 with Stephen Verity holding behind a train.
All right, here they go. Verity making their way around. Coming down into pit lane. Another taker in the LMP2s.
That's a wide open pit window. Lots of fuel expended with the long straights at Silverstone, so many different strategies opening up. I do have to do a little bit of championship math, by the way, because with Zegers getting pole, That extended the gap to 5 points in the championship. If Hedgecox does what he's doing right now, he has the fastest lap in LMP2, and he's winning. That would give him 56 points. If Zegers finishes third, that still wouldn't be enough points as far as I know, because that would be 1 point too far. So he does need to finish second. He still has that goal. But these guys, they're just fighting for glory here at the end of the season. Leedy and Carroll, they've got not much to fight for other than maybe a 10th in the championship. So they're just having fun now, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, they're having a good time. More drivers coming down into pit lane here at this point. Let's see what they do, as this is going to be Nathan Ray, the first real taker of the GTPs, opted to come down into pit lane with 27 minutes left to go.
Getting himself a little bit of screen time. He sees all of his fans in the chat, and he's ready to give them a little bit of fan service there. Sorrentino and Chinsky, the battle for thirds heating up now. Josh on a little bit of a recovery drive. He may have Arnaud watching him after his incident with Daniel Zegers, but he's still got a race to finish. He's still got a podium to fight for. And this is the battle for the end of the top 10 still. It's not over as Zach Hebert looks to the inside of Stephen Verity. Is he going to be close enough to go for the dive? He certainly hopes so as he opens the door.
He's going to open it around here at this point as they try to hold everything together. Verity leads Hebert, leads Evans right now in that bright pink Acura as they come around down through the last couple of corners on the old layout, down through Luffield and into Woodcut. Cut of a line there, and that's actually going to fan them out a little bit before they get into Copse.
I have to give Jeff Evans a lot of credit as well. I don't have exact statistics on this because top 10s aren't counted in the championship, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, every single race that Jeff Evans has done this season, he's finished in the top 10. That is an insane statistic. He's finished every race, hasn't had any trouble, and has finished in the top 10. That is pretty impressive.
And another pit stop, Aiden Young coming down into pit lane.
Alternate strategy in GTP. He's got no teammates in the field today. Daniel Harris isn't here, and the rest of the gang from last season weren't here this season, but Aiden's building his own strategy and hopefully looking for some clean air potentially, because he's not going to be able to change the tires. That would take too long. He's not going to be able to do anything in terms of real pit strategy, in terms of tire wear. The only way you can pull an undercut is if you find clean air and stay out of traffic.
Yep, they're going to have to be doing it here at this point. I mean, I think that's probably the best option to take. Again, 3.6 mile circuit. This is long enough. They may just be able to make this play.
And there are the marching ants to the bottom of your screen. Diaz is going to catch the first bit of lap traffic already. Josh Gowen is directly ahead, and a couple other stragglers who have made their early pit stops in LMP2. Daniel Zegers is back there as well. This could get interesting, because these are teammates. Diaz and Ovando, Precision Racing Esports drivers in GTP. Zegers, a Precision Racing Esports driver in LMP2. Is he going to open up the door potentially for his teammates if they get too close, or is he going to continue to focus on that battle? I don't know if it's going to be too much of a worry, because Michael Diaz coming through the last part of Maggots and Beckett's, now coming through back onto the hangar straight. I think he might be able to get lucky and pass him on a straight.
I think he may be as well. He's got a good run here at this point. He's going to try to dive it in, down into Stowe. Gets the move done, nice and easy.
And now can he open the door on Gowen potentially for his teammate to slot through into? Gowen's going to block to the inside, and Diaz is going to bring it down pit lane. His teammate Ovando follows him in. Now, what is this going to do for the Precision Racing Esports Acuras? Pit stop time for Aiden Young, 26.1 seconds. Was that too long of a stop? Nathan Ray was only in his box for 18 seconds. The numbers will tell us here in a matter of moments.
All right, as we wait to see, they're coming down into pit lane, waiting to come to rest into the box. Here they go, stop in pit lane for both. A little bit of a blink there for Ovando, looking at the pit stop times right now.
It's going to be creeping up here, and it could not feel longer when you're sitting in the cockpit for those two drivers. Now Aiden Young coming through the final sector, coming through Vale, coming through Club. The clock continues to tick, though, for the PRE cars. 24 seconds, 25 seconds. It's a very similar stop for those guys. But how is the blend going to be? Diaz at full speed coming through turn one, and Aiden Young is going to be absolutely miles behind. He's been jumped by both of the Precision Racing Esports drivers. He's down to third as Diaz takes the lead. Novando takes second.
Oh, there it is. That's got to be a little bit of heartbreak for Aiden Young, but he has now got a clear goal in front of them as he needs to push to try to cane in on Michael Diaz.
And I don't think we can count out Ryan O'Connor either. Remember, he was only about a second behind those two drivers. If he's able to pull something off here and maybe shorten his stop, he may be in the conversation for this race win. He's gotten absolutely screwed, though, through Maggots, Beckett's, and Chappell behind his LMP2 teammate. Lost a ton of time through there, just through bad timing. And I think that may be the nail in the coffin to that strategy, but we'll see what can happen.
Yeah, let's see what happens here at this point. If anything's going to change around, I don't really see anything happening. Menino's going to come down into pit lane. None of the other drivers in front there really could, I think, make a challenge on him. This is going to be a battle farther back in the field.
I think Ryan's going to extend this for as long as possible now. Vardanessian got into some trouble coming down into Brooklands. No contact with Nathan Ray, and a nice little drift for good measure.
Yep, nice little drift there as well. Just going to get a little bit of a run on it here as they go. And as we watch O'Connor coming around right now, I don't think I see him. No, he's going to stay out. I think your assessment's right there. If I was him, just stay out as long as humanly possible.
Yeah, if you've already lost the time behind the LMP2 cars, you might as well just continue on in the strategy and hope that something changes. Because if you ditch it now, you've already lost, and then you've already lost even more, which is it's a double loss. Hedgecock's, though, in LMP2, these cars have been known to go a little bit further on the fuel than the GTPs. The stints have been much longer in the past this season, and Jack's going to continue on. I think our Velo behind him will likely continue on as well. Let's see. Yes, he does. But it's a race for second still, as Hedgecock is still in control. Chinsky brings it down pit lane, though.
Yeah, Caleb Lehman also bringing it down as well. So two takers there in LMP2 deciding to bring those cars on in. Also looks like Matt Carroll and Blake Baked Ziti bringing the car in as well. Whoa.
Evans and Georgiev going at it. A little bit of a battle of the different strategies here. Evans has pitted, Georgiev has not yet. Jeff peeks to the inside into Brooklands, and that should be fairly easy doing, but it's not. Georgiev actually decides to try and close the door. He's going to fight this for everything it's worth. Evans is going to try and switch it back around Luffield, coming through Woodcut. We know Jeff is a little bit faster in terms of pace. Is he going to be faster in terms of straight line speed, though? Acura versus Porsche down this short, what was formerly the front straight. Evans finally gets to the inside into Copse, and the fight is finally resolved as Jeff gets through.
And if I'm Jeff Evans, I'm a little bit frustrated by that. Gregor Georgiev not fighting for position here at this point, and that just did nothing but really slow down Jeff Evans. I wonder if Georgiev maybe didn't realize that that was a car on an alternate pit strategy.
Maybe having a little bit of fun. They both know they're fighting for probably 10th to 13th. Might as well have a little bit of fun. Probably less fun for Jeff Evans, though. He'll be looking forward now. This is the last race of the PRL season, by the way. All of the series are done except for this one. So after tonight, we will take a little bit of a break for 3 weeks, and then we'll be back with the regularly scheduled programming. Before that, though, I mentioned it earlier, the All-Star Invitational is back for the second time. Sunday, March 10th, 8 p.m. Winners from every single Precision Racing League series, from this series to the oval side to open wheel. Everybody will meet on track at the same time. It's going to be fantastic. Jack Hedgecock is going to be there after his wins in LMP2 this season, and he's down pit lane as well right now in the meantime.
All right, here they go here at this point, trying to see what can happen. Zegers continuing to try to claw his way up through the order, and we've still got to kind of wait and see exactly what that pit strategy is going to work out for him. If coming down into pit lane is going to be the right call here for him.
And Jack is done. He's going to get back out on track, and I don't think he's actually going to get held up in any traffic. I think he's found an opening of clean air. And yes, there it is. Hedgecock's coming through turn 2 now, coming through pit exit. He's in clean air, and you look at how far back Zegers is now. That's not 7 seconds like the gap to second. That's almost 20 seconds, I would have to imagine. But there's still many more drivers that have yet to pit. The top 5 have yet to pit, and Karsten Quint has yet to pit. That means that Zegers could theoretically be anywhere from 3rd to about 9th right now, and we won't know for a few more laps.
Yeah, we won't. Meanwhile, up the GTP field, Hebert and Roy both coming down into pit lane here at this point, so that's P2 and P3, but a little bit of a battle starting to take place.
The SRT drivers have found each other. This is Eric Palacio and JR Williams side by side. The switchback for JR is shut off after the mistake from Eric. And they're going to keep going one by one here. But SRT in a very distant conversation for the team's championship this season. Unfortunately, this didn't go their way, but these are all drivers who love this GTP. JR Williams was the driver who really led for this car and this series to be added back to the PRL last season. And I think he can be very proud of himself because this has been one of the most successful and one of the most exciting nights, if not the most exciting night in the Precision Racing League.
Yeah, I think this has been absolutely fantastic here at this point. Really, really interesting battles across the entire field and a lot of strategy coming into play.
And I said this last season, what did we do without these prototypes? Before we had LMP3 and LMP2 and GTP and the PRL, I don't know how we survived because it feels like we should have had this forever. We couldn't because we didn't quite have the cars for it, but now that we do, I hope it never leaves.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. I mean, GTP racing, prototype racing is the absolute best of the best.
And there will be a new series next season in the Precision Racing League. You'll have the same old series you're used to, but there will be a new series on Thursday night. The Super Formula Series will be joining us, or the Rocket Ship Series, as I think our producer Dustin Allis has been calling it, or the Not IndyCar Series, I think he's also been calling it. There's all sorts of names. But signups are still open for that. 34 drivers currently signed up. Many more opportunities if you want to fight against some drivers from this series, some drivers from the PRL's Open Wheel Past. Many strong drivers will be returning to that series, and I am very excited to see that as well.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see that as well. Anytime we get good open wheel action in the Precision Racing League, I am a very, very happy camper.
I don't know if there's any drivers from this series. Eric Palacio will be in that Super Formula Series. Frankie Arvello will be racing in that series. Blake Ziti. A lot of good Monday night names. Monday night names from the Lionheart Series as well. David Sirois, Hugo Galaz, Alex Guyon. It's a star-studded grid, and I'm gonna have to make sure I lobby to get on Thursday nights next season if I can.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic to be able to watch, and we're happy to welcome them on over to be able to do that. Lionheart, obviously, one of the stalwarts here on RaceSpotTV. I covered for years and raced in for a year the Lionheart Retro Series. Some of the best racing you're going to see on the planet.
And there is one driver I'll tell you about right now. There's a man named Evan Jones, a pretty normal name, but I don't know how he's gotten in the mind of our friends at iRacing. He somehow managed to convince them to change his username to Evander Jonesyfield.
I want to know the secret to that because I'd like to change my name to something.
Next season in LMP or Super Formula, he's confused me enough that I forgot what the car is. We're gonna have to call him Evander Jonesyfield.
All right. Well, I will be tuning in to be able to watch. You have to do that as we watch right now a little bit of side-by-side action with Ovando there, who's got a couple of blinks coming through, but that's Nathan Mon in the LMP2 field that he's having to deal with.
Yeah, this is news that Ryan O'Connor wants to see. He needs to see his two teammates getting held up back here and opening up that gap if he wants a chance to win. Oh, and I hope Boris Ovando's internet's okay. Our producer Dustin Allis has internet issues in rural Tennessee sometimes, but I think Boris Ovando may have the worst internet of anybody. If anybody's got fiber, please give it to him. And please give Josh Goen and Caleb Lehman a round of applause because that was crazy stuff. Contact in a battle for P11.
Yeah, here as they go. Oh, still getting it out all around this point. Here as they go. Trying to see what they're going to be able to get to do as they come onto the Wellington Straight right now. This battle is anywhere but over.
Cars in every single inch of this track. It's impossible to know where to look, but Matt Carroll can only look in his rearview mirror right now because Mon's trying to switch it back. Ziti's there, and look who's hunting in the background. That's one of the LMP2s of Chip Michaels, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. There's lots of cars that look identical, but it is just a train behind Matt Carroll, and they're fanning out even wider. That's actually a GTP car. It was a little bit too far back to tell. That's one of the SRT GTPs trying to come through.
All right, let's see if they're able to get their way out at this point here as they go. Going to try to poke their nose to the inside and outside here. The more speed being carried by that machine. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get to go, and no, they're not. The LMP2 going to get in the way. They're not going to be able to get by yet.
And now the blend in GTP is going to be coming. Has Ryan O'Connor done enough on this alternate strategy to pull a lead over his teammate Michael Diaz? It's a race against the clock. The gap coming in was about 34 seconds. Pit delta's about 50 seconds, but not all of that is spent stationary, and it's also a shorter run. So this is a mathematical question. O'Connor leaves the pits 16 seconds. That is a 10-second shorter stop than Michael Diaz, and Ryan O'Connor takes the lead.
Yeah, but the question is here at this point, Joey, does he have enough to be able to make it to the end? I mean, I'm seeing 18, I'm seeing 19 seconds. I'm not seeing anything close to 16.
Has Ryan O'Connor saved enough fuel to pull an absolute masterclass, or has he underfueled the car and he's going to have to come back down pit lane? I think we're going to get the answer in a couple of moments here at the end of this lap.
Yeah, I think we are as well. The other question is if he's still in fuel-saving mode, 3.2 seconds is not going to be enough for him to hold on to it. We also have Bel Air here in a little bit slideways.
Yeah, the Fresh Prince of Bel Air through Village has a little bit of trouble, and I think that was Nathan Mon coming onto the scene as well, and he just got absolutely clobbered there, no fault of his own. Maltsev, actually, poor guy, did nothing wrong there. But Michael Diaz and Ovando are going to be able to catch O'Connor here potentially. He's absolutely mired in traffic as we ride on board with Maltsev, and that was just a smoke cloud and a missile coming broadside into him.
Yeah, it certainly was a little bit of a problem there at that point for him. Let's see what they're able to do. They try to get their way around right now. Here comes O'Connor working his way on through. That's Diaz, already closed the gap down by about a second.
Yeah, O'Connor has been absolutely mired in traffic, but now Diaz has to pass those same cars that may hurt him in the opposite way. He's going to catch them through Vale and through Club, two of the slowest corners on the track where it's so difficult to get through traffic, and Diaz can only ride in line now behind Goin, losing time, waiting for the opportunity to get through. He might get by Goin on the front straight, but there was a huge wiggle coming out of the final corner.
Yeah, that was massive. He is very lucky he held on to that there at that point. That's frankly very similar to what we saw with, who was it, down to the GT and the LMP2s earlier in the race that almost went the wrong way there. He was able to catch it and get back onto it. That gap now back up to 3 seconds, frankly, courtesy of that traffic and courtesy of that bobble.
And now it's just a question. Is Ryan O'Connor an absolute fuel wizard, or is he going to run out of fuel? That is going to be the question. Now, we do have to take into consideration, Diaz pitted 6 laps earlier, rather, than O'Connor did. Diaz is currently on the 7th lap of his stint. O'Connor's on the 1st lap of his stint. Is that 6-lap difference worth 10 seconds of fuel? I don't know. This is going to be so interesting until the end of the race.
Yeah, this is going to be absolutely fascinating to see how this is going to play out here at this point. Let's see what happens as they go. Let's see what they can do. O'Connor, I worry if he has the speed. That's my concern here at this point, is the speed that he has.
I think I saw Boris Ovando coming through Beckett's there in the grass. Yes, there he is rejoining the track coming out of Chapel. It went horrifically wrong for Boris Ovando through Maggots and Beckett's. I think he got a slowdown for that. Aiden Young's going to get by him for the podium. And look at Goin taking the opportunity to peek to the inside of one of the SRT LMP2s. But here's what happened to Boris through Maggots and Beckett's.
All right, let's watch and see. Oh, almost contact there as he chucked the car around the outside. He's going to pick up an off track there as a result of that. He is pushing. He is hustling.
An excellent save and an excellent recovery, but quite a bit of time lost, and that is how Aiden got by him. You see Boris serving the slowdown in the straight there, and now he's mired in traffic even more. But look up front. This is not looking good for O'Connor just on that last lap. He lost almost half a second to Diaz, and the gap now below 2 seconds. I think O'Connor might need to hope for Diaz to run into some trouble in traffic, because even if he does have enough fuel to make it to the end, he might just get caught by Diaz. But let's ride on board with Ovando, as that was even closer from on board.
Oh my goodness, he is a lucky driver. And Joey, at that point, when you're behind the wheel of the cockpit, you're not thinking about what you're doing. That is all instinctual there for Ovando. He is very lucky that he was able to keep that together.
And all LMP2 pit stops are done, by the way. Sorrentino finally made his pit stop. He's rejoined in P3, and those positions you see on the side of your screen are accurate now. Daniel Zegger's in P6. That is too low for him to win the championship right now. He needs 4 more spots, 5 more spots, which I think may be too big of an ask. That's 3 seconds up to Wallace. Add another 2 seconds, add another 7 seconds, add another 1 second. That's 10 seconds he needs to make up in 8 minutes.
Yeah, he's really got to go here at this point. He has got to get a move on and see if he's able to get anything to play. Ovando needs to try to get by Young here at this point if he wants any shot, not only at the podium, but being able to hold on to his teammate.
This reminds me of Aragon just a couple of weeks ago. Pelshaw, Ovando, and Nathan Bartley came together in turn 1. Aiden Young took the lead, but wasn't able to hold back Ovando. Is he thinking about that again here? Maybe getting a little bit of revenge, at least for his own good, to hold Ovando off the podium. Ovando's going to phase out of existence for just a moment. That might give Aiden a little bit more breathing room. But Boris is there through Village. He's not going to be close enough to go for a dive, but through Village, through the loop, these low-speed corners have been really good for Boris, and we'll see him continue on the attack.
All right, he's going to go here at this point. Let's see what he's able to get to do here. Pushing his way on through. Trying to see if there's anything to get.
Going and Lehman rather, battling an LMP2, the end of the top 10. Belair's trying to run away. Lehman's trying to at least redeem himself for the end of the top 10. He's been racing all season long. He's had some success. He's had some bad days. He's got Legos in the background, so I say he can do no wrong. But right now, he's a little bit all over the place through Brooklands and Luffield as one of his teammates in the SRT GTP is trying to come through.
Yeah, they're trying to get their way on by, and I wonder if there's going to be a little bit of communication there in between the two to try to let him on through safely and maybe get that done. That is going to trap him down a little bit. Maybe not as much communication as we thought.
Door's going to be open here, and there we go, through. But that might cause some more trouble for go-in, and that may open the door. You need to take advantage of GTP traffic as both of them are coming through here. Palacio and J.R. Williams both coming through on go-in simultaneously, potentially opening the door as this is a battle for position in GTP. J.R. Williams peeks to the outside of his teammate. Is he going to make it happen around the outside? Oh, and Palacio spins. The teammates come together right in front of one of their LMP2 teammates. No contact made after the spin. Excellent by everybody to avoid that. But the SRT cars come together.
Oh, you hate to see that there in between teammates. And Joey, that is the #1 rule of racing. I was talking about it this weekend. Never run into your teammate.
And Jeff Evans says, wait, Eric Palacio, weren't you about 10 seconds up the road? How did this happen? Suddenly he's got a little buddy to battle with for P9. Palacio's going to have some very, very hot tires. Let's see if Jeff can pounce. It's not just for P9, it's for P8 now. Very deep into turn 1 for Evans. He is hungry. He's got a shaken driver in front of him. He's not able to take advantage just yet. Aiden Young still holding back Boris Ovando, though, in the fight for second. It's only gotten closer, and it's only gotten more aggressive, though. Boris has got a good run here down this short straight. I think he's going to be a little bit too far back this time, but he's not going to give this up, ever.
No, certainly not. Looks like Chip Michaels has had a little bit of a problem here at this point. He has spun around to the number 63 LMP2.
He'll fall a little bit deeper out of the top 10. Daniel Zegger's still P6. He's not been able to take advantage of any of this drama. Up front, though, Diaz has only closed that gap down to O'Connor. It's now below a second. It might not be as close as Ovando and Young, but it is very, very close. As here's what happened to Chip Michaels. A little bit of a loop-de-loop and a full-throttle donut to try and keep things going.
Yeah. Oh, very lucky he did not make any contact there through that section of the corner. That's a relatively blind corner for those drivers coming up on.
Battle for P4 would be a battle if Nicholas Goen runs into a little bit of trouble. He's the red LMP2 at the head of this train. Aiden Young in a GTP trying to come through. He gets held up on exit, but he'll clear him before turn 1. Is Ovando going to be so lucky to get through? Not quite, but this is the battle for the win. It's now below half a second. Diaz's charge is almost all the way to the front. O'Connor's got to hang on for 2 more laps at the line, but it's more like 2.5 laps. He still has half of this lap to go.
Yeah, he does. He's got Frankie Arvello up ahead of him here at this point, and it's going to be a question of whether or not Arvello is going to hold up O'Connor, or if O'Connor's going to be able to pinch him a lap down here as they go. Arvello not giving any leeway as they come through the right-hander there of Luffield, and I've got to wonder now that the hybrid system starts to kick in for that GTP, this could be exactly what O'Connor needs. Moves to the inside. If he is able to trap Diaz down, that's going to buy him some breathing room.
He is. Diaz not able to get through cops. He's got to lift off a little bit on exit, still managed to hold the throttle for a decent portion there. I think Diaz could have lost much more than he did, so well done to Michael for getting through and taking that opportunity. But now it is GTP v GTP, no LMP2 cars further forward, and O'Connor slow on the exit of Chapel, hopped up over the curb. Is that going to allow Diaz a chance to the inside? He's not fast enough in a straight line to go for it into Stowe this time.
Yeah, I wonder there maybe if Diaz is suffering from a little bit of straight line speed loss, if he just doesn't have that car tuned out to be able to go straight fast in a straight line. But one way or the other, yeah, look at this. Under the slow speed corners, Diaz closing up like nobody's business, but clobbers the curb.
How incredible is this? Ryan O'Connor with a 10-second shorter stop is trying to hold off his teammate for his first PRL win. 2 laps to go and nothing separating these two teammates. There's still plenty of traffic to come. Another LMP2 directly ahead of O'Connor, but he had a great run through turns 1 and 2. A little bit wide through turn 3 though, might keep Diaz in this.
Might keep him in it for the moment. Let's see what can happen here. As you said, 2 to go at the line. Up ahead of them, that's going to be Godwin that they have to deal with.
And it almost looks identical to the previous lap when O'Connor caught his half teammate Frankie Arvello. Go in, opens the door though. He saw that he was already wide and said, I'm not going to hold you guys up anymore. O'Connor and Diaz both get through, but Diaz now within 3/10 of O'Connor. If he's suffering in a straight line, he's got a little bit of the draft now to take advantage of, but Diaz is still losing in a straight line.
He's still losing in a straight line. I think he's got that car tuned out for the slow speed corners, and this is going to be the area where he's going to be able to attack coming through Maggots and Beckett's.
Oh, huge clip of the curb through Maggots. Is he going to find the inside of his teammate O'Connor? He's not going to be able to. He's got to follow him through, and now through Chapel, O'Connor's going to take full advantage of the straight line. Does Diaz have anything here? Coming into Stowe for the penultimate time, fully in the draft, within a 10th and a half. He's forced the long way around, switches to the inside on his teammate O'Connor. He's not quite there though. Ryan's gonna hold on the outside. It'll give him the inside for the next time around. Diaz is forced yet again to think about the long way around. O'Connor parks it in the middle of the road through the final 2 corners. Diaz is gonna steal back the inside through the final corner. It's a battle of the straight line speed. White flag in the air. Can O'Connor hold off his teammate for one more lap? Into turn 1. Diaz on the inside takes it away.
Yeah, Diaz had that measured up from going down through Club. He knew exactly where to be, and we've got another battle here. Ovando, Menino, Williams.
Aiden Young holds him off on the inside. Ovando looks to the inside. It's shut off. Dave Menino trying to go around the outside now. Becomes the inside for the second part of the quarter. Ovando gets into Young. Ovando's got front end damage, and Young gets pushed out of the way. Menino's going to take advantage to the inside, and Dave Menino takes the point and takes the podium. But does he have the straight line speed to fight off Aiden Young? Young's faster in a straight line. On the brakes, Menino on the inside gets swallowed up by Young on the outside.
Oh, swallowed up there at this point. Let's see if he's able to fight it back just a little bit. Menino still hunting. He may have a little bit of the crossover there at this point as the clock hits 5 seconds to go.
Battle for the lead is closing up though through Maggots and Beckett's. Ryan O'Connor has brought that gap within 0.2 of a second. This isn't over. Maggots and Beckett's coming up now. We know Diaz is fast through the high speed corners, but O'Connor very fast in a straight line. If he can nail the exit here through Chapel, he may be in with a shot, but Diaz just too quick through the final parts of those corners. He's going to hold on down the straight. O'Connor is going to be using every little bit of the draft he can. And will Jack Hedgecox potentially play a role here? There's one more bit of LMP2 traffic to come. But this has been an incredible battle between the two teammates in GTP. Ryan O'Connor with a 10-second shorter pit stop put everything he could into this fight. But it's looking like it wasn't quite enough. Out of the final 2 corners, Michael Diaz wins at Silverstone in GTP and ends the season on a high. But it could not have been closer. It ends in heartbreak for his teammate, but Diaz adds another number to his historic PRL career. 17 wins now for Michael Diaz in 4 different categories, and he breaks his teammate's heart.
Oh, that is absolute heartbreak there for Ryan O'Connor. Meanwhile, farther back in the field, Aiden Young was able to hold off Dave Menino for that final podium position.
Jack Hedgecox has 1 lap to himself now. Michael Diaz wasn't able to get by him, wasn't able to put him a lap down, so Jack has to make it around the track here and hope he has enough fuel to still finish this race.
Yeah, I mean, this is the problem when you run some of this multi-class racing here at this point, is you can run into those problems here at this point, is that Hedgecox has got to hope that he filled this up right.
I think even if he does run out of fuel, he'll still technically win because he's a lap ahead of the field, but he might have a little bit of help. He might actually have Diaz to help him out if he needs it. But this is a little bit of a victory lap for Jack Hedgecox. It has gone entirely his way today with a little bit of a savvy start, taking the green flag, immediately jumping Daniel Zegers into turn 1. That put Zegers on the back foot. Zegers had contact on lap 1, got turned all the way to the back of the field, and amidst all that drama, what has Jack Hedgecox been doing? He's been running away from the field. It was almost a 10-second gap over Frankie Arvello before the pit cycle came around, before the pit stop came around, and now all on his lonesome. The only car left on track, the number 77, the purple rocket of Jack Hedgecox, rounds the final corner, and for the second season in a row, Jack Hedgecox is your LMP2 champion in the PRL.
And there it is. Fantastic run for Hedgecox. Delivered when he needed to and absolutely led this way flag to flag.
And his 8th win in a prototype that ties him for 2nd with Mauricio Cuero. Only one more, and he'll be tied with Sean Campbell for 1st. We'll see if he can pull that off next season. But Jack Hedgecox, 2 championships now in this series. We'll do some teams championship math in the meantime. We'll figure that out, but we do have the finishing results for you after easily the most exciting race of the season. Michael Diaz wins for the 17th time in the PRL, but breaks his teammate Ryan O'Connor's heart. A 10-second shorter pit stop. Incredible strategy, but the defense wasn't quite there for O'Connor. He's got to come home in 2nd. Aiden Young, a podium for him after a solid run. He'll be happy with that. Menino and Williams round out the top 5. Verity, Palacio, Evans, Roy, and Nicholas Schwartz round out the top 10. And Nathan Ray and Grigor Georgiev both finished on the lead lap as well for the Piston Pirates. Boris Ovando did unfortunately run into some internet issues at the end. He was 1 lap down. Please, somebody give him fiber or Starlink or something. We need to fix his internet. And Zach Hebert rounded out the top 14, the only car in the used car lot. Jack Hedgecox, victorious in LMP2 and your champion in LMP2 in the Drivers' Championship. Came home ahead of Frankie Arvello, who had a very solid race in his own right. 2nd for him is a great result. Doug Sorrentino on the podium as well. You're going to hear some very happy words from him, I'm sure. Nicholas Gowen and Luke Wallace rounded out the top 5. And Daniel Zegers, championship leader coming into today, put it on pole. It all came undone, though, with that contact on lap 1. You have to give him a ton of credit, though. 21st to 6th. That's an incredible comeback. And I think we'll see him next season as well, looking for that championship as an absolute favorite. Chinsky, Belair, and Lehman and Leedy round out the top 10, as Andrew Wood finished P11 ahead of Nathan Carroll. Mon, Ziti, Quinton, Reagan, Chandler round out the drivers who finished 1 lap down. Gowen, Michaels, and Vardanesian were 2 laps down, and the used car lot consists of Eugene Maltsev, who got broadsided, and poor old Ryan Chandler didn't make it very far either. But with a little bit of math, I'm not going to do the team's championship math in LMP2. That's going to be too difficult. SRT and Precision Racing Academy, I couldn't tell you who got it. I'm sure that'll be revealed on the forums or something if you want to see that. That'll be coming soon. But for now, something we know for sure is we have some drivers crowned as champions. Before we get to that, we'll talk to our winner in the race, though. Michael Diaz coming home victorious. What a battle there at the end with Ryan.
Whew. Yeah, I'm sweaty here. It was interesting because he didn't take tires and I did, so he had that gap through the fuel and then the tires, and then I had the tire advantage, so it was just a matter of trying to get him at the end.
So how much of the gap do you think came from tires and how much came from fuel? Because it was a 10-second gap. We were pretty surprised. Was he in any danger of making it to the end?
Who, Ryan? Yeah. He just didn't take tires. That's why he came out sooner from the pits than I did.
Well, that is your 17th win in the PRL. We know you've competed in literally everything there is to compete in the PRL. Where are we going to see you next season?
I don't know. You should give me some suggestions. Maybe I'll try something new.
Do you want to go back to the oval side? I remember you tried that a couple seasons ago.
I'm waiting for the road courses.
There's one road course, I think. I think Coda's on the Grand National calendar.
That's fun. Maybe I'll try it. Who knows? But
well,
yeah,
we'll
maybe
see.
I could get a win there and have those nice stats.
Well, Michael, congrats on the win. 17th win in the PRL for you, and we'll see you next time wherever that is.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks to you guys for broadcasting the entire season and the team for the support, especially Boris and Ryan.
And also Precision Racing Esports Teams Champions in GTP. Drivers Champion Pat Pelshaw. Again, if you're just joining us, not here tonight, but he was crowned champion last week. He got his full glory then. But we'll get some more glory here because we have an LMP2 champion now. After some ups and downs, Jack Hedgecock's had the biggest up. He's your champion, and he's with DJ Clark.
Jack Hedgecock's champion here in the LMP2 series. I mean, it looked like it was going to be a fight. Talk to me about the relief a little bit of the first couple of corners when you saw your main competitor have a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, I would say I had relief at the same time. It was more stressful because at that point I decided to wait and see what happened after the rest of the race. That may not have happened, but I didn't get a start there at the very beginning. So I'm not for Daniel. I want to congratulate him, and that was a great season battle between the both of us. And I wish nothing but luck for him for next season and continue to race against him, hopefully. But same time, man, that was something for sure. That was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it was a crazy race. I mean, talk to me about your emotions coming on that last lap. It looked like you had a little bit of a victory lap.
Yeah, I did. I would say I was wondering if I should let, I saw their battle behind me. They was coming up close, but I was like, man, it'd be really nice. So yeah, you're pretty much spot on there. I was definitely taking it in, being a 2-time back-to-back. So after all that, throughout this whole season, ups and downs, I think this one's sweeter than the first one.
Well, that's got to feel pretty amazing, I've got to imagine. So what's next season going to hold in store for you, my friend? Where are we going to see you?
Man, I was thinking between the GTP and the LMP. I stuck with the LMP2. It's nice to be with all my whole team. None of them really wanted to jump up with me, and I didn't want to be there without them. They're a great group of guys, and glad I've been able to do this PRL with them for 2 seasons now, and I'll continue it for another season.
Well, we are excited to be able to see you around next season, my friend. Congratulations. We'll see you next season.
Thank y'all. Have a good night. Appreciate all the stuff you guys do with the broadcast. It's amazing.
We're more than happy to, my friend. That was Jack Hedgecock, your victor and LMP2 champion.
And from the elation of a champion comes the heartbreak of Ryan O'Connor, unfortunately. Ryan, pit strategy, so close to your first win. What more, if anything, could have been done to hold Michael back?
Nothing. He was on fresh tires. I wasn't. I actually thought at one point he got about half a second behind me with 2 laps to go, and I thought he was holding back a little bit. And we were obviously in chat together, and I just said, "Mike, don't hold back on me," because I don't want my first win given to me. So, yeah.
Still, definitely one of the most exciting races of the season. We were sweating up here as well. I'm sure there were gallons of sweat coming out down there.
Yeah, it was a sweaty mess. I had to do an apology. I booped P3 a little bit, Doug Sorrentino. So I immediately told him, and it's kind of funny. I said, sorry for the small boop. I was definitely a sweaty mess, just based off the strategy and not being able to take tires because I had a bad first stint or whatever. It was time to make up ground. So that's what I had to do.
So where are we going to see you next season? We know you've done everything there is on the road side, a little bit of oval racing. What are you going to be up to?
Nothing. I'm actually for sure this time taking the season off. Going to give some time back to my family. The Monday nights back to my wife and my girls, who have been excellent at understanding that I like to come down here and doing this every week.
Well, shout out to the O'Connors. Spend some time with them, and hopefully maybe next season we'll see you again for a little bit more.
Yeah. I'm definitely not gone for good. Just taking a break.
Ryan O'Connor coming home with second, but you'll see him fight for his first win eventually. It just might be a little bit longer from now. But let's continue on here. We'll keep the zipper going. Let's go back down to LMP2 because Frankie Arvello had one of his best races ever, and as a prize, he gets to talk to DJ.
Indeed, Frankie Arvello, a great run for you. P2, how does it feel, my friend?
Hey guys, it feels pretty good. Sorrentino was keeping me honest there, man. But I was pushing for a podium at least by the end of the season, and this is one of my favorite tracks, so I feel pretty good.
Well, talk to me a little bit of that. Excuse me, my mouth just stopped working there for a second. Talk to me about a little bit of that pressure that you had coming from behind with Sorrentino. I mean, it looked like he was really hassling you there.
Yeah, the beginning was with Jinski first, and he was really fast too. But then they got into battling for the position, which helped me a little bit. So I kept, my times honest and try to preserve my tires as much as I could. Because I knew that towards the end, Sorrentino was gonna try to reel me in, and again, he kept me honest, man. I tried to be as flawless as I could, so I just took 1X, and that's it, man. I'm feeling pretty happy for my result, and was able to, give him a bay.
Well, you did an absolutely fantastic job, and I've got to ask you the same question we've been asking a lot of people. What are we going to see you in next year?
Super Formula.
All right. Welcome to the open wheels, buddy. We can't wait to see you out there.
Thank you, guys. Have a good evening.
All right. That was your second-place finisher, Frankie Arvello, in LMP2.
Back up to GTP, Aiden Young got to finish on the podium today. It was a little bit of a lonely race for you, Aiden, because you didn't have your teammates, but it certainly wasn't lonely at the end with that battle with Dave Menino.
Yeah, no, it was definitely fun. Well, I maybe wanted to win the race. I didn't necessarily play my strategy right, so kind of hurt me there. But I mean, nonetheless, it was still a fun race, fun battle. First pole in PRL for me as well, so that was cool. After I saw that number 1 pop up, and I heard my spotter say, "You are on pole." The joy just overtook me, and then I almost botched the race start because I was still on a high from the pole.
So next season for you as well, we know you and the Fiercely Forward guys, you're interested in many types of road racing in the PRL. Where are we going to see you and maybe some of your teammates?
Well, next season, you'll see me doing something different. Trying out a new cup of tea. Gonna do the GT3 series.
Ooh.
I may re-register for GTP, but the schedule for me, I don't really like it. If I re-register, it'll mainly just be for fun.
Well, Aiden, I'll be happy to see you anywhere. Congrats on the podium, congrats on the pole, and we'll see you in the near future.
Thank you. See you next season.
Aiden Young coming home on the podium. And last but certainly not least, our final podium sitter, Mr. Doug Sorrentino's here with us.
Doug Sorrentino, a great battle there you had with Frankie Arvello. Welcome to the podium. How does it feel to bring this Speed Designs number 31 up here?
It feels super awesome, man. I think with our group of guys, I just wanted to get top 5, and then, halfway through the season, I was like, okay, as long as we just keep it clean, keep it consistent, we'll get the podiums. And then, luckily enough, we were able to pull it through and actually get P3 for the solo at least. So I'm super excited for that.
Well, super excited for that. And in terms of the race itself, I mean, talk to me about it. What was your approach here? Because it looked like this was pretty cutthroat the entire way through.
Yeah, man, I haven't been getting the best of luck in officials, so, I was just trying to make sure that I had good, clean times out there, tried a couple different pit strats throughout the week, and then I landed on just taking fronts and low fuel. I think I finished with maybe about half a gallon left, and, it pulled through. I had a couple scary moments, a couple sweaty moments as well with Ryan, but, super awesome to be out there.
Well, super awesome to be out there. Super happy to be able to see you there. And I got to ask you the same thing. What are we going to see in next season?
Yeah, so a few of the other Discord buddies, we're going to jump on over to LMP3-GT4 series. We're not going to do Speed Designs. We're doing a different group. But yeah, I'm going to be doing LMP3 class, and I'm hoping for a high position for my first year around there. That's my other prototype that I really love. But yeah, we're super excited to jump over there too now.
Well, we're super excited to see you over there, my friend. Congratulations on the podium, and congratulations on a good year.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. You guys are super awesome. Really love to watch them every time.
Well, we're more than happy to bring it to you. And Joey, that unfortunately is the end of our interviews here, it looks like.
No. What are we going to do? Where are the other 30 drivers? We could go on for about 2 hours here, but what a way to end the season. We've crowned, if my math is right, 8 champions today. 4 drivers champions, 8 teams, or 4 more teams champions. What an incredible race. So much going on tonight, and there's going to be so much more next season. Season 2 signups are open for all sorts of things. The Cup Series, I believe, still has open spots. The LMP3-GT4 Challenge, if you want to race an LMP3, has open spots. GTP and LMP2. GT3 Sprint is open. Trucks, Grand National, Formula D, Super Formula. That's a lot of cars. That's a lot of races. We're looking forward to all of it. The All-Star Invitational's coming up on Sunday night. All the winners of the PRL in the same cars, in the same track, at the same time. And dare I say there might be some rain involved. But until then, I've been Joey Tebbin. DJ Clark's been DJ Clark. This will probably be our final sim racing broadcast together for a little while, as we'll see each other on the road in another capacity this year. Dustin Alice, he's been our producer all season long. Until we see you all next time, so long.